excellent defense, and then their pitching was spectacular. That's Mariner pitching right there. That is Mariner pitching, right? Just starting pitching for days, and then relievers just coming at you one after another after another. Two words to describe this Mariner team as we sit here today on May 19th. Long way to go. Two words to describe what we've seen through more than a month and a half. One, and this one should be pretty obvious, resilient. Obviously, this team is resilient. The number of times they've lost the first game of a series, bounced back to win the next two is incredible. The amount of injuries that they've overcome over the course of the season to legitimate contributors, as we said, 8 of the original 26 guys expected to be on the opening day roster are hurt right now. That's just now. 8. And they've had Dylan Moore and a couple of other guys who've been in and out since then. But 8 of your original 26, nearly 1/3 of your roster, is hurt right now. And you're sweeping the Padres on the road in their building. Incredible. And again, not just sweeping them. Best series of the year, dominating them.
I just saw that we had a request over the weekend to have Daniel Jeremiah back on after the Padres sweep.
We probably aren't going to do that. But I am happy to read you from my text messages that I got from one Daniel Jeremiah over the weekend who was not happy. Quote, Padres always suck against these guys. That just came from him. Unsolicited. Just right there on Saturday. Then he mad on later. Vetter grew up in San Diego, got famous in Seattle as a diehard Cubs fan. Awesome idea. Then he says we couldn't hit Ric Flair, referring to, of course, Brian Wu. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with DJ. He's not happy. So Mariners resilient, right? Overcoming injuries, losing a couple of games, bouncing back. In this case, losing 5 of 6 at home, and everyone kind of wondering if this whole thing is teetering. No big deal. Just go out on the road, take a day off, don't make any roster moves, and just win a 3-game series with a sweep. Incredibly resilient. So that's word number one, and I don't think that's this huge surprise to anybody else. That's just as obvious as it can be watching this team all year. The other word is not one that I ever thought I would use to describe the Mariners. Not over the last decade, 16 years, I don't know. They're kind of relentless. They kind of just keep coming at you in waves. And it feels, I'm going to use this word later to describe Scotty Scheffler, and it's weird because both of these words describe him as well. Resilient, he has the occasional bad miss, and he just immediately finds a way to bounce back on the next hole. I was hearing yesterday as I was watching the golf that Scotty leads all of golf in, I think it's birdies after bogeys, essentially bounce backs right after a bogey. It's kind of what the Mariners feel like, right? So he's resilient. And he is obviously just inevitable. That was the word I was going to use. If you were watching the golf this weekend, even when Rahm made it close, you're like, yeah, whatever. This guy's going to win this. It's just inevitable. And I don't know about you guys, I kind of had the same feeling watching the Mariners this weekend. Not a feeling I'm accustomed to having watching this team.
Yeah, I don't know that that's a feeling anyone's had in this town for the Mariners for a long
It's been a long, long time.
In fact, I think you would talk yourself into like they're going to find a way to drop this.
I think that's why I brought up 2001 a week or so ago before the Blue Jays sweep, because it had that element, I think, of inevitability, of relentlessness, of just coming at you in waves after waves after waves after waves. You just kind of keep coming at you. Lyle pointing out that the first 5 guys in this order right now, they're about as good as anybody else is throwing at you in the top half of an order. Randy Arozarena has been tremendous. Had a good weekend again, 4 for 13 with a big home run over the weekend. I'll play you that sound of the home run here in a few minutes. Obviously, what Cal's doing, I mean, Cal just wins you games. He's just like an OPS over 1,000. Julio, Julio's doing just like a little bit of everything, right? He still isn't quite red hot, but enough. Polanco, by the way, Polanco did nothing this weekend, right? He's hurt. Looks like, again, gets a day off. Didn't play against the left, kind of feeling like maybe Polanco's not 100% again. That's okay. Everybody else just picks up the slack. Dylan Moore just get a big hit when you need him to. Mitch Garver just come up with a big single when you need him to. No big deal. Just Mariner baseball right now. It just comes right at you. Relentless, player after player. And that, by the way, is just the lineup, because the real relentlessness is the pitching staff when it's on. And that's what you saw this weekend. Logan Evans, Lyle, your guy, unbelievable on Friday. Best start of his young career, obviously. And if you see a lot more in that, well, Logan Evans is going to be a dude. A dude who's either going to be in this rotation or somewhere else, because he's brought back quite a bit in a trade package. Emerson Hancock throwing 97 plus. That's not the Emerson Hancock that we've seen so far. He doesn't make it through 5, but man, was he good while he was in there. Gets himself out of trouble a couple times when he needed to. And then obviously just complete and utter dominant 7 innings yesterday from Brian Wu, who was absurd. Unhittable, essentially, after a solo home run to start the game. After that, good luck. Relentless. And the bullpen, relentless. Coming at you in waves, to the point where it almost doesn't matter who you pick. Who do you want to put in? They've decision-proofed themselves right now, where you can just sort of at random pick a member of the bullpen. They'll come in and do their thing. We're going to get into it a little bit later. The two Dans very much, I thought, on display again this weekend. And obviously, it's very clear which Dan is more important to this team. It's not the one making decisions in game that, once again, have me scratching my head, and I know I'm not the only one. It's the one who's got these guys playing a relentless brand of baseball where even if they make a mistake, even if they make a weird decision, even if they throw the wrong guy in there at the right time, it doesn't matter. Because the execution ends up, essentially overcoming or overpowering any of that. Pretty incredible, man. Pretty incredible. Relentless. Yeah, they won 14 wins in a row in 2022. I'm not forgetting that. But this has a little bit, this has now been over more time. That team got red hot. The funny thing about this Mariners team now, or certainly what I watched this weekend, did they seem just red hot to you? They did at the beginning of this, right? Polanco was obviously red hot. Cal got himself into a groove. Some of that was just sort of red hot. This doesn't feel, at least for me, maybe you saw it differently. Did you get a sense that this weekend was just a red hot Mariner team? Not really. It's not like they went in and scored like 30 runs over the series. They scored 15, 5 a game. That's fine. A couple of them were tack-on runs late yesterday once that game was probably over. They pitched. The pitching was red hot. But again, this wasn't even flying in there with Logan and Kirby and Castillo or something like that. It was Logan Evans, for God's sakes. That doesn't feel red hot. Oh, yeah, by the way, thank you, 720. Let me quickly just mention, while you're talking about the relentlessness of the team, and obviously you're going to mention the offense, obviously you're going to mention the pitching, you got to mention the defense, too. Defense is relentless. They don't make mistakes. They don't make a lot of errors. And then you get 2 or 3 defensive web gems a series. Leo Rivas might have had 2 of them just yesterday. So, yeah, you put all of those things together, and I do think that you're looking at a team that right now is resilient and is relentless. And if you keep it up, if you keep those 2 things consistently over the course of a season, you can be a really good baseball team. You're going to make the playoffs. And then we'll see what happens from there. Especially in an AL West where, just when it looked like the A's might be good, they drop 8 of 10, right? We've talked about the Rangers and Astros. Not that impressive. Pretty good spot to be in right now. Let's come back with everything you need to know. It's next. I'll play you some of the sound from this weekend. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How are you?
I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Empower.
Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient Bryant cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
This hour is brought to you by Community Transit.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, after a rough week at home, the Mariners roared back to life in San Diego this weekend. A little bit of everything, but it all started, I would say, with the pitching, which was just excellent. 6 shutout innings for Logan Evans on Friday. Emerson Hancock didn't make it out of the fifth, but only allowed 1 run, was throwing 97 miles an hour, which is not something we've seen really much from him, and was excellent. Let the bullpen take it from there. They were unbelievable on Saturday. And then Brian Woostern yesterday, he was magnificent as well, did everything you would ask of him.
Into the motion. Here's the 1-2. Strike 3 called, freeze him. Upper rung, 94, zipped it by him. Brian Wu, dominant in San Diego. 11 in a row put down, 16 of 17 put away for Brian Wu. A special day in sunny San Diego.
Yeah, he allows the first home run of the game, leadoff home run, and then that was it. Didn't allow anything else really over the next 7 innings. Was barely in much trouble. 5 hits, no walks, tremendous performance from Brian Wu. But they did offensively as well. 6 home runs in the series, including this one yesterday.
King delivers. Swung on, blasted left field. It is hammered. It is on its way. It is in the seats. Randy Arozarena, a solo home run, and he's tied it up against the Padres. A big blast by Randy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's a pretty easy sweep, honestly, of an excellent team in their own building where they've been very good this year. Credit to everyone on that roster. Now, after winning 15-3 in the aggregate this weekend, you head to Chicago. The White Sox have not been good, obviously. They've won just 14 games this year. You got Castillo tonight, TBD tomorrow. I assume that's going to be Jonathan Diaz, but we'll see. And then Logan Evans pitches again on Wednesday as we wait for George Kirby to return. He does seem like he's fairly close. Pitched okay in his last rehab start. Said that he hadn't really had a conversation with the team yet about what happens next, but he was with them in San Diego. So I would assume he does indeed end up getting activated in Houston. But Jonathan Diaz, does that sound right for tomorrow? I assume that's what it's going to be. I'm not sure where Casey Lawrence is at in terms of his schedule. Maybe he could come up and make the start, but again, you're in Chicago. It's sort of like if there's one place you feel like you can get by with a start from either Lawrence or Diaz, Chicago's probably the place to do it.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, I always said I thought that Geno Smith should have waited for Brock Purdy to get paid and then asked for $1 more. Turns out he didn't get anywhere close. Purdy signs a 5-year, $265 million extension. It gives him $53 million a year with more than $180 million guaranteed and a full no-trade clause. Remarkable. Here's Dan Graziano.
Remember Jalen Hurts a couple years ago? They wanted it done before OTAs started. And I think that this reflects that. If you're Brock Purdy, could you have maybe got more by waiting? Of course, you always can. But I think he wanted it out of the way and the decks cleared for the offseason. And certainly when you think about where he comes from, being the last pick in the draft, it's a lot more money than I think on that day anybody would have ever forecasted he made in the NFL.
It's a lot of money. It's $53 million a year. For reference, Geno got 2 years, 75 to 85. So he's getting paid a lot more than Geno Smith is. Yes, he's won more. He's made it all the way to a Super Bowl. But again, the starting cast around him has been, supporting cast, been pretty good. It seems like an overpay to me, but all right. That can eventually start causing problems for San Francisco, salary cap wise, etc. I don't know if he's the seventh best quarterback in the league, especially if he's going to make the 7th most money.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
I mentioned this word earlier, inevitable. There is nothing in sports right now that feels as inevitable as Scotty Scheffler once he's got a lead or really is anywhere close. Top of the leaderboard on Sunday because it just feels over, and that's exactly what it was yesterday. He wins at Quail Hollow, wins the PGA Championship, adds a third major to his resume, went from 3 back to 2 strokes ahead in a short stretch on Saturday, was tied briefly on Sunday, and then like an hour and a half later had a 5-stroke lead. Pretty incredible, and it was definitely well over from there. He wins his third major.
Well, I'm just really proud of the way we fought this week. I was battling my swing the first couple days. I didn't have as good of a prep week as I would have hoped to, and it was a battle out there for 4 days. And Teddy did a really good job of keeping me in it, and Randy helped me figure some stuff out with my swing, and Marnus helped get my body right, and it was a real team effort this week. And I'm proud of the whole squad, and I'm looking forward to celebrating this.
It may be a team effort, but man, he's a pretty big part of that team, and what he did was incredible. Best in the world. Not a lot of flair, not a lot of intrigue, just an inevitable force that hits fairways, greens, putts. Like you know it, he does all of those things. Storm blown out in their season opener on Saturday, and I was watching the New Look Fever. They get a triple-double from Caitlin Clark and just run the sky out of the building. That is everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Yeah, Purdy's going to play this year in his old rookie deal. Yeah, it's still $165 million, though, in the first 3 years of the deal. I mean, there's a lot of money in there for Brock Purdy. Okay, maybe this year they don't have to deal with much. But by next year, I mean, when your quarterback goes from making like $600,000 to $53 million, I would imagine that's got a pretty significant effect on your cap, whether you can move the cap around or not. All right, Maura's going to take us through the weekend. If you were only doing 1 or 2 things, missed 5, 6, 7 of the other things, don't worry. We got you covered. Next on Brock and Salk.
Bump and Stacy.
Jason Churchill joining us now. Might we be staring at a potential gap where you're still waiting on production from your pitchers and the offense has come back down to earth?
If I would have told you after about 40 games that the Mariners are going to be in first place, George Kirby will have not pitched, and the thing that's led them to this record would be the lineup, the offense, the run scoring, I think every single fan would have been like, hey, yeah, I'll take that.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
All right, well, we were getting more rain this morning, kind of off and on throughout the whole weekend. The ground is saturated. Everything is wet this time of year. Not a huge surprise, right? Spring rain can wreak havoc on your crawl space. So if you get rain or groundwater in there, you got problems. Structural damage, toxic mold, etc. It's why we got Crawl Pros, right? They'll come out, take a little look, see what's going on, and then they can keep your crawl space dry by installing a sump pump and drainage and just reroute that water back out and away from your home. They'll take any mold that's been created and get rid of that. They can even address any plumbing issues you might have in your crawl space as well. None of this is uncommon here in the Northwest with all the rain we get, especially this time of year. So here's what you do. You just call Crawl Pros. They'll come out, do a little free, free inspection, corner to corner. They'll show you everything that's going on. And then once you say yes, they just fix it. Pretty impressive. It's what they did at my house, and they can do it at yours as well. If you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation, critters, anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
Hey folks, John Curley here. One of the best home comfort inventions of recent time, mini split systems. Now you can enjoy efficient heating and cooling while saving energy and reducing utility bills with personalized room comfort. Call my friends at Home Comfort Alliance for a free consultation, and for a limited time, get 18 months same as cash financing on all qualified systems. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Why would we trade our best player?
Well, at least you got to watch him in person when he was here.
I named my only son after him.
So you'll always remember his name.
Yeah, but what do I do with this jersey?
Luckily, the company has a great return policy.
I wore it for 6 seasons.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
It's time to make your yard the best on the block with Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. Start by keeping the weeds at bay with Earthgrow mulch, now 4 for $10. Then keep your garden thriving with Miracle-Gro garden soil, now on special buy, 4 for $10. Give your neighbors yard envy all summer long with Memorial Day savings going on now at the Home Depot.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
360 says, Salk, do you think the fact that live golfers choke on Sundays because their tournaments are only 56 holes long? No, not. I mean, maybe. I don't know if they're in full practice. But, I mean, you got to say, Rahm made the run yesterday before he choked. It felt more to me. I know Moore's going to get into this quickly here around the weekend. But honestly, the Rahm Scotty thing yesterday felt sort of like a basketball game where one team gets out to a big lead, the other team spends a lot of energy getting back into the game, and then eventually they just kind of run out of juice, and the team that was originally ahead kind of pulls back ahead and wins. That's what it felt like to me. Like Rahm had sort of used up all of his juice and kind of faded back away there on the back nine. So just my thoughts. Maura, that was what I was watching quite a bit of this weekend, but I know there was a lot more. Why don't you take us through it?
We'll start with breaking down some of these Mariners games. Friday, J.P. Crawford's shoulder appeared to be just fine in his return when he took the first pitch yard.
Here's the first pitch on the way. Swing and a drive. Deep to right field. Down the right field line. Gone. Goodbye, baseball. Welcome back, J.P. Crawford. He jams one out of the ballpark, and the first pitch from Stephen Kolak. He missed the game on Wednesday because of a sore shoulder. I guess he's just fine because with his 4th home run of the season on the first pitch of the game, the Mariners have a 1-0 lead over the Padres. What a way to start this game tonight here in San Diego.
This was pumped.
That was a rocket shot. That was way gone. And then just such a lefty home run too, right? Just low and in, put it right in his happy zone, and JP unloaded on it. That ball was, it was way gone. It was pretty good. The only question on it was it going to stay fair? It did. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And then Rowdy Tellez hit a towering 408-foot 2-run shot of his own in the top of the 4th to make it 3-0. Cal Raleigh had to get in on the action, of course, and hit this 2-run home run in the 6th.
Here's the pitch to him. Swung on, blasted left center field. This is hit well. Lockridge back. He's at the wall. He makes a leap, and it is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run. Number 14 on the year for Cal. Big dumper here in San Diego. Deposits one into the seats, and the Mariners extend the lead. It's 5-0.
All right, I'm sorry. I got to jump in there, Gary. I love Gary. You can't say big dumper deposits one. You just can't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm all for the big dumper nickname. I'm all for creativity and clever. I'm gonna stand up and stop you. You can't say big dumper deposits one. That's a no. That's a no. I'm out on that one.
I don't know that I even, yeah.
I unfortunately did hear it that way, and I'm out. I'm out on that. But as for Cal himself, talk about inevitable right now, right? What's more inevitable than Cal coming up with a home run or two during a series? Big hit.
I thought back to our interview with Goldie, I think it was last week, where during that tough stretch of the homestand where he was talking about how important multi-home run games have been for them this year, and they were kind of in a little bit of a dry spell for that.
Yeah, didn't really hit a lot of home runs at home. Yeah, I mean, again, I am with Goldsmith on this very much so. Like, I'm happy to talk about the little things. I wrote about it and cutting down the strikeouts and stuff like that. It helps. But it helps marginally, right? It helps by subsidizing everything else you're doing and kind of filling in the gaps. It's the pebbles after you've got the boulders. And the boulders are walks and home runs. Eliminate them through your pitching staff and hit them when you're on offense. And when you do that, you're probably going to win a lot of games. That's always kind of been the case for the Mariners. And they did it again this weekend. 5 or 6 home runs this weekend, including that one from, those two, from JP and Cal on Friday.
Well, and as you mentioned at the top of the show, also great performances from their pitchers. Logan Evans had 6 scoreless innings, giving up just 1 walk and striking out 3. So the Mariners win the first game of the Vetter Cup, and much to Lyle's delight, when J.P. Crawford was asked about it after the game, this was his response.
You take the first game of the Vetter Cup. What's your favorite Pearl Jam song?
It's that one that they sing. You know, that goes like, yeah, that one.
That one. All right, JP, thanks so much.
Oh, I was going to save this for later. It is just so awesome being right. It's so fun.
But Lyle, I told you I don't like Pearl Jam or know any of their songs either. There's a broad list of other things that you don't know.
I felt pretty vindicated with that one.
I'm glad you did.
To me, that's just more of a musical preference thing.
By the way, a bunch of the other guys also did not know any Pearl Jam. Brian Wu was asked about it in the Seattle Times. Like, yeah, I couldn't tell you anything. Logan Evans said, yeah, I couldn't tell you much. It's not just me.
It is pretty funny, like, for one group of people, especially generation of people, the idea of this being the Vetter Cup is like brilliant marketing. It's so cool that the Mariners and Padres agreed to this, and Eddie's involved, and the guitar, like everything that's like been part of this Vetter Cup feels like amazing. And then there's this whole other group of people who are like, what's Vetter? No idea what that means. Vader? Vetter? What is it? Like, it's amazing just how completely split that is. Hey, more importantly, maybe, Lyle, what'd you see from Logan Evans?
It's really good. I mean, he just kind of does what he's been doing so far. I mean, like, I think some of the sequencing of his pitches is only getting better as his starts are going on, and he's just kind of learning how to, like, adapt to the best, like, adapt in the big leagues and all that. But, you know, he got a lot of soft contact. The swing and miss went up a little bit in this start for him. So, yeah, like, I think ultimately, like, he kept those Padres pretty off balance. And by the way, his sweeper was really working because he got Jackson Merrill looking pretty bad.
He did, yeah. I mean, look, if he's going to go 6 shutout innings often, like, he's going to be in this rotation regardless of who comes back, right? I mean, like, that's pretty dominant. Yeah, the swing and miss will probably be the question mark for him, but if he can continue to generate soft contact, doesn't really matter, right? You get deep into games when you do so because you don't have to go 5, 6, 7 pitches to strike somebody out.
And yeah, and he had a little more swing and miss in that start on Friday, which was encouraging.
I would just like to note that after we played that JP cut, for those of you that couldn't tell, because I don't think you could even really see it on the video stream, Lyle put his feet up on the desk.
Wow.
Because he feels so vindicated.
It's weird that he took his shoes off first, too.
I gotta get Brock's reaction to this later, too.
I mean, we get texters that agree with you on that one, but people don't seem to agree with you as much about, like, not knowing what Frasier is and a Stevie Wonder song. Okay.
Wait, actually, I know a Stevie Wonder song.
You didn't the other day.
Well,
once we told you, have you heard that song Superstitious? You were like, oh, I think I have heard that before. But you couldn't name one.
Well,
all right, we got a busy weekend. Let's keep this going.
Saturday, Emerson Hancock came out fired up, hitting almost 98 miles per hour in the second inning when he had back-to-back strikeouts. But he did get into some trouble when he gave up a home run to Gavin Sheets in the fourth. And then in the fifth, he gave up a single, a double, and a walk before recording his second out. So Gabe Speier was brought in for the final out and caught Jackson Merrill swinging. Rowdy Tellez had already hit a solo shot in the fifth, and Cal added one of his own again in the seventh.
And here's the pitch. Swung on, blasted left field, a rainmaker. It's high, it's deep, it is gone! Cal Raleigh! A rainmaker in the rain in San Diego. A majestic blast. He has done it. He's given the Mariners the lead. Number 15 on the year, and it's a big one. Cal Raleigh, a home run machine. And the Mariners lead 2-1.
We got a text just now that's asking if you guys are done with the Rowdy Tellez slander.
Know that there's ever been slander. Talk to Brock about that one. I don't know. I don't know that there's ever been slander. You know who had a terrible series? Jackson Merrill. Man, he came up at a lot of big spots and did exactly bubkiss. He ends up going 1 for 11 in the series with kind of a random single. They shut him down. I mean, like, he's one of the real keys to that lineup, and he didn't do anything. That's a guy with an OPS of 995 this year now. That's after the bad series.
Yeah.
Did you notice Jackson Merrill doing anything in this? I mean, every time he came up, they just moved right past him. No problem. No problem.
When you're starting Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock to start the series, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you'd expect Jackson Merrill, a guy like him, to do some damage. He's one of the best hitters in the league. This year he's got a 177 OPS plus. Again, 77% better than the league average. He's unbelievable. Shut him down. Didn't do anything. Didn't do jack squat. Even when they were bringing in players to face him that I don't think I would have brought in, including Legumina on Saturday, like, doesn't seem to matter. Merrill just goes out and does and did nothing. So good on them.
And speaking of Gabe Speier getting that big out with Jackson Merrill swinging, Emerson Hancock gave him a lot of props after the game.
Yeah, it was incredible. What an incredible job in that situation to be able to, execute his pitches and get the big strikeout and go out the next inning and put up a 0. Like, what a great job from him. What a great job from the rest of the bullpen guys. It was a really great win.
Dylan Moore also had a 2-run single in the top of the ninth for some insurance, and Andres Munoz got the final 4 outs for the M's win, and that was his league-leading 14th save of the season.
He's still only allowed, what, 1 real run all year?
None.
Yeah.
No, his ERA is still at 0.
I thought he ended up giving up a run, no?
Well, it got, if they originally counted it as earned, it got reversed.
Oh, okay.
So he's still at 0.
Oh, okay.
I will say, I know we'll probably get into some of the decision-making later. I will give some props for how that fifth inning was handled because that was one of the biggest.
Fifth inning was great.
That was one of the biggest situations in the game. They recognized early on, look, there's not a lot of runs being scored. This could be one of the biggest situations all night. Go to one of our leverage guys now, and Gabe Spire got him out of it.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Then you use Brash in the 7th. I'm sitting going, all right, what are you going to do in the 8th when you face 2, 3, 4 of a really good order? It was Legumina. I don't know if that's the way I would have handled it. Worked out, so I guess it was right. But again, we'll talk more about this at 7:30. To me, I'm bringing Andres Munoz in the 8th to try to get 3, 4, 5. And then you take your chances with Legumina or Vargas or whoever it is in the 9th. I just don't believe in the magic 9th. I never have. I never will. I think it's one of the reasons the Mariners pitching and bullpen has been so successful over the last 6, 7 years, whatever it's been, is because they've used guys in pockets rather than for the magic 9th inning. And I know we got the...
Seems to be suiting Munoz.
It sure seems to be. Although everything was suiting Munoz. Like, he was just fine before, too.
Well, last year they overused him.
All right, but he was just fine. I mean, like, it's not like he was struggling when he'd come in to face good pitchers or good players early. Yes, I'm sure it does suit him to not always face the best players on the other team. Of course it suits him. Like, that's easier. I don't know. It works, so I'm not going to sit here and complain.
I've got some Munoz thoughts for later, too, so maybe I'll save them because I think it's an interesting...
This idea that he's earned the 9th, like, I'm sorry, I just don't buy that.
Yeah, okay, I'll save some of it. I was going to say on Legumina, though, he's not there yet, but are we approaching another second rider bucket guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's really in the Seawald bucket because he looks so similar to Paul.
Right.
Kind of also comes out of nowhere. I mean, he was part of that same idea. Yeah, I would say we're getting there.
Yeah. He's kind of fourth on that totem pole right now in terms of leverage relievers.
Yeah, either him or Vargas probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I think he probably could have handled the 9th rather than the 8th, but hey, again, it worked, so I'm not complaining. Just glad it worked.
All right, yesterday, Brian Wu was fantastic yet again, going 7 innings, giving up 5 hits, 1 run, no walks, and striking out 5. He's gone at least 6 innings in every start this year and is the only pitcher to do so. The lone run Wu gave up was a solo shot to Tatis Jr. in the 1st, and that would be the only run given up by the M's all day. The offense got going in the 4th with 2 outs already. Arozarena hit a home run. Tavares hit a ground rule double that scored Tellez and Mastrobuoni. Had a single that drove Garver home for a 3-1 lead. Garver then had an RBI single in the 6th that made it 4-1. So Carlos Vargas and Edward Bizardo, I always want to say Eduardo. Edward Bizardo, they each pitch a scoreless inning. So the M's win 6-1 to sweep the opening series of the Better Cup. The Padres went 0 for 21 with runners in scoring.
That's not very good. That's probably not going to get it done. 0 for 21. Hey. Yeah.
We'll take it.
Absolutely, you'll take it. I mean, but again, they shut down really the best players on that team. Machado didn't do anything. Merrill didn't do anything. Just a solo home run from Tatis. I mean, like, the guys that have really made that Padres team go didn't do a whole lot.
Did this feel like one of the most complete
Yes.
series where, normally it felt like the offense is doing well, but the pitching is a little shaky, or the pitching is doing what this felt?
Pitching, offense, defense, all 3 were on point.
Yeah, we should mention Leo Rivas' play in the 6th yesterday where he dove for that ball and then threw across his body to first base. Insane.
Yeah, he made two really nice plays yesterday.
I think Perry Hill actually posted one of them and said, you know how this happens? Practice. It's pretty awesome when Perry Hill is like, I need to highlight this.
Yeah, well, Perry should be pretty impressed with himself right now. I mean, a team that started off the year with major question marks in its infield defense right now, and some of that is bringing up Williamson and Bliss not playing. Like, they've changed who's playing second and third. That's obviously helped quite a bit, but their infield defense has been, for the most part, tremendous.
And he does it year in and year out. Like last year when we were like, I don't know about Rojas over there. Like, he always finds a way to get people where they need to be.
Yep. 206. Typical Salk. I'm not going to complain while he's actually complaining. Okay, yes, I am. I'm complaining, but it works. So I'm not, like, I don't have a leg to stand on. But I don't think that's the right way to handle it. It just worked.
Do we think Perry Hill runs that Twitter account? Like, it's
his
him?
own?
Yeah.
Yeah, so who else would run Perry Hill's Twitter account?
No, I know when Lydia worked here, sometimes he would actually like direct message her and talk to her about some of the stuff that she was seeing. And that, so yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I just wonder how that generation often is with social media. So I don't know.
Yeah, come on.
I don't know.
Don't take shots at Perry. Perry doesn't want to hear that out of you.
All right, we'll talk a little WNBA now. I know you and Brock Salk were lighting up our text thread during the Fever Sky game the other day.
Lots to say about that.
So the Indiana Fever beat the Chicago Sky 93-58 in the season opener for both teams Saturday. Caitlin Clark had a triple-double with 20 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds. She became the fastest player ever in the WNBA to reach 3 triple-doubles, doing so in 41 games. Her teammate, Dewana Bonner, made some history, too. She hit both of her free throws with just a few minutes remaining in the game to move into third on the WNBA's career scoring list. She has 7,489 points. Angel Reese had a double-double with 12 points and 17 rebounds for the Sky, but not a lot of help from her teammates, as Ariel Atkins with 11 points was the only player other than Reese to hit double digits in any category. This game wasn't without controversy, as Reese received a pass in the third that left her wide open for a layup, and Clark immediately fouled her. It appeared there may have been an extra shove in there, and that was later upgraded to a flagrant foul. I did feel like Reese was maybe, it was a little bit of a flop, the fall that happened after that. Yeah, I don't know. But Reese was not happy with Clark and went after her to let her know. Clark's teammate, Aaliyah Boston, stepped in, and they were both given technicals. So both Caitlin Clark and Reese talked about it post-game. This is Caitlin Clark with Holly Rowe.
Caitlin, I saw you having a long conversation with the official. Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul. What was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know. If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, you know, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
Angel Reese didn't really want to talk about it.
Angel, can you take us through the flagrant foul from your perspective? Just what you saw in that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball play, refs got it right. Move on.
She said basketball player, refs got it right, move on. But in game, she was
she's pretty hot.
She was screaming at Caitlin. So I think she had a little more to say about it in the moment, but that's probably the right thing to do. After
I think she. I mean, afterwards, that's exactly how.
The way that people try to create more drama than I think there needs to be between these two, it's the right thing to just kind of.
Yeah. So a couple thoughts on this game. I did watch that game. I was. Never thought I'd be on my phone watching a WNBA game in the middle of the Alderwood Mall, but there I was. Cecily was up there with a friend, so I'm like sitting in the food court by myself, watching the Fever on my phone. Caitlin looked really good, man. She looked so good. She was on it. She looks so much more comfortable than she did last year. Not a huge surprise, right? Remember last year you come directly out of the college tournament. She's got like a couple of weeks off and then bang right into this whole thing. Like she never really had any time off. She's learning about the physical game of the WNBA. They're targeting her.
There was some extra animosity for how much hype and publicity she had gotten.
Oh, she was getting drilled. I remember going to the game. Every time she went up for a layup, they tried to kill her. Well, she takes the off season. She rests. She puts on a little bit of muscle, knowing that she's going to need it over the course of this year. And what I saw from her, at least if that's going to be her all year, they get a new coach, which I think helps. They get some new teammates. She looked awesome. Her passing is insane. For all of the conversation about her shooting, it's her passing that sets her apart. She's such a gifted, visionary passer. It's super fun to watch. All right, as for the dust up, and I want to talk to Brock about this later. You can't tell the story of what happened without first mentioning that right beforehand the refs didn't call
Reese
pushing her teammate.
Yeah.
She pushed her. And
that's
then
how
Caitlin
she ended up so open.
Defended her own teammate. I thought it was perfect. No problem. I didn't have a problem with any of it. Who has a problem? What's the problem? What would possibly be the problem? Angel Reese pushes somebody. Fine. Happens during a basketball game. She's a physical player.
I feel like
Caitlin pushes her back. Great. She's getting her teammates back. Aaliyah Boston comes and separates them. Good. That's what's supposed to happen in basketball. I thought it was awesome.
It gets treated differently than like
Ridiculous.
a rivalry in men's sports for some reason, where I don't know why they have to like villainize someone.
It's absurd.
It's a good rivalry.
And now it's like part of the culture war. Get that. Get out of here. I almost cursed on the air. Just get out of here. Forget the culture war. It's two good basketball players doing good basketball things. It's exactly what it should be. I have zero problems with any of it. None.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, we only have a minute.
You only have a minute for
here,
Scotty?
Yeah,
That's fine.
sorry.
He's boring.
Do you want to? He posted an even 71 in the final round for a 5-stroke victory at the PGA Championship Sunday. It's his third major title and his 15th PGA Tour win. I did not realize he's only 28 years old. That man does not look 28.
No, I know. He's wise beyond his years. Scott, I was tweeting about this yesterday, and I'm amused by a lot of the answers. Scotty Scheffler is far and away the best player in golf right now. I mean, Rory's great, and, Collin Morikawa's great, and Bryson is... Like, there's some really good players in golf. Scotty's insane. I mean, like, he's just... The way he's playing right now is otherworldly, and it's been that way here for a couple of years. I can't, I'm not rooting against him because there's nothing there to root against. I can't bring myself to root for him. He just, and maybe that's what great golfers do, because I've mentioned this before. My friend Shane, who's unbelievable, best golfer I've ever seen in person, Shane Pranty. And I watched him shoot a 64 with, 8 birdies, no bogeys, 17 greens in regulation. And when you see it, it's not that impressive. It's super, boring. Hits every fairway, hits every green, makes a bunch of putts, and there you go, 64. And obviously it is impressive, but it doesn't have that oh my God, did you see what he just did? It just sort of is machine-like. And that's what Scotty is. I don't know, for whatever reason, I can't get into rooting for him, but I'm sure not rooting against him, because it's not like he's Patrick Reed or Jerk or something like that. Just kind of there and just dominates, and then that's it.
Did you see the Nike ad that they
Oh,
did?
yeah. I did
I
see
had
that.
to check the account to see if it was Nike's actual account. 'Cause,
Guilty?
I was, yeah.
Pretty funny.
It says best player in the world? Guilty.
Guilty. Yeah,
And
a
it's
year ago, you may
Scheffler.
remember he was arrested at the PGA Championship. So, all right, good stuff. More. Thank you for a great trip around the weekend. Yes, for those asking, I did finish 18 on Friday. I did make it through a whole 18. Didn't play great, but finished with low 90s. It was fine.
Finally take a shower when you got home?
I did. I took a shower the second I got home. I felt so disgusting. Mariners put together what I think was the best series win of the year, and maybe a little bit more the way we expected it. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Only Brock and Salk and Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me? Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave, keep your house cool and save.
Dayandnight.net.
Save up to $6,000 on qualifying cooling equipment, plus no payments or interest for a year OAC. Don't sweat it out this summer. Stay cool with Day and Night.
Dayandnight.net.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm. we got you.
Introducing frequent flights between Boeing Field and a private terminal at Portland Airport. Seaport Airlines is transforming travel with convenience, comfort, and free parking just steps from your plane. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Alex. At just 16, she suffered trauma after a broadside collision with a delivery truck.
When I came in, they were so nice. They were just like, don't worry about anything. We'll take care of that. It's gonna be okay. Live your high school life. We got your back. And they did. I would recommend Rob because they have a passion for caring for people.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
I would say best series of the year so far for the Mariners. Not just a sweep, but the sweep of a very good team on the road in their building, and the complete nature of it. The offense, the defense, the pitching. I mean, like, you name it, they did it all this weekend. And you leave San Diego, I don't think anybody expected a 3-game sweep of the Padres. But, man, they were just the better team this weekend. It wasn't really that close.
What's up, Daniel Jeremiah? Yeah, owning that better cup. Was I talking smack to him on text? You best believe I was all weekend long. 15-3 plus 12 scoring differential. Why am I rapping on a Monday morning? I don't know. But yes, Michael, that was hard to argue that was not their best series. Yes, they swept Texas earlier this year. Yes, they won 9 series in a row. But as you mentioned there, you watch and see that San Diego team. That's a good lineup. That's some really significant pitching. That's a good bullpen. And to go down there and not just win the series, but to take all 3, coming off of a homestand where you had lost 5 of 6 as well. Yeah, that's hard to argue that was not the best Friday to Sunday of the Seattle Mariners here in 2025.
I used 2 words to describe this team when they're like this that I think really fit them. And the first has been used a lot this year, and that's resilient. I mean, clearly, all of the injuries they've got combined with having, really coming off 2 pretty rough series at home, right? Blue Jays and Yankees, you lose 5 of 6. Their resilience is just constantly on display all year long. How many series they've lost the first game and then won the next 2, and they didn't do that in this one, but just coming off of the 2 series loss and a sweep, yeah, no big deal. We'll just go out there and just beat up one of the best teams in baseball in their ballpark.
Yep, and again, this is kind of when you got on that stretch, and this is kind of sports today, to be honest with you. Deeper teams and teams that get contributions from everybody seems to sustain a little bit more. OKC, playing 10 guys and getting rid of those Nuggets who have to lean on about 3 or 4. Eventually, they just run out of gas. The Toronto Maple Leafs, well, they're the Toronto Maple Leafs, Salk. They just run out of gas. They just cannot go and finish. But this was reminiscent of a bunch of those great series wins where you were getting contributions from everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody in your bullpen delivered, right? To hold those guys to 3 runs in their building over 3 days with a full lineup of Tatis, and Machado, and all the Red Crones, all of them. That's some special duty right there.
Well, I mean, Merrill did nothing. Machado did nothing. Cronenworth did nothing. I mean, they shut those guys down. I mean, it really felt like that lineup was rendered meaningless. It felt like over the course of the 3 games. You used depth. The other word I used is maybe related to that, but just felt relentless. The offense just keeps coming at you in waves. The pitching just keeps coming at you. The bullpen just keeps coming at you. And even when you feel like you've got a hit, the defense keeps coming at you as well. And I don't know, there's a relentless nature to not even just the way they play the game, although I'm sure you could make that case as well, but more just sort of the way it must feel to play against them.
Yeah. Like, man, I got to earn everything. They're not giving me anything. JP with a great play Saturday night, just, getting to a ball and throwing it over there to first.
Yep.
Little Leo Rivas with a tremendous play yesterday with a Robinson Cano-esque, almost behind his body turn throw right on the money. It was just when you think, okay, they're going to get somebody on, they're going to start to pressure the situation. They just released a pressure valve at all times. There was just no pressure that San Diego put on the Mariners really at any point. And then, exactly like you said, Michael King breezes through the first couple innings, and then it is just work, as it was for Max Fried, as it was for Evaldi, as it was for DeGrom, as it was for Skubal, as it's been versus every ace they faced this year. It is not there's no gimmies. Like everything is work up and down that lineup, and finally got to him. And geez, it's just a great, I would imagine, team feeling coming off of that home series where you were a bit disappointing to go down there and get on that plane last night and fly to Chicago and begin a set in the Windy City. That had to feel pretty darn good to those boys.
Yeah, you got to imagine the confidence is pretty high after that, as it should be. Again, I mean, that's a takedown. Now, one series does not a season make. I mean, the Angels swept the Dodgers this weekend, so I mean, like, you just
say that again.
Yeah.
Well, they're playing for Ron's job down there.
They must be.
Some of the heat. We've seen some managers fired, so I think Ronnie
that must be it. Yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, it worked out that way. So, what happens week to week and game to game in a baseball season isn't always telling, the full picture. But when you play like that, you're as good as anybody, honestly, because the pitching was so good, the defense was so good, and the hitting is, look, they score 15 runs in a series. That's 5 a game.
Yep.
That's not one of these, oh, my God, they just went in and teed off. They just scored the right amount. Like, score 5 runs in a game, and you're probably going to win. Give up 1 run in a game. You're probably going to win. And when you do both of those things, obviously, you win every game.
Wow.
Pretty nice.
How did you guy do that? How did Logan was, all of a sudden that hit or error got changed to an error, and his ERA gets cut in half? Was he just a new man or what? How did he get that done?
No, I think in general he's just been really good. and he got out of a lot of jams on Friday. So.
Brock, your Logan Evans thing took a big hit, right? You guys were arguing a couple of weeks ago about whether Logan was good or bad in that game, and then they made one scoring change 11 days later, and his ERA got cut in half.
Yes, and he's a new man.
He's a new man. It was a surge of confidence for him.
I will tell you this too, man. Randy is playing, and it's not just the numbers, right? It's just what your eyes see as well, and how great to see him take an extra base yesterday, right on a fly out to center field, and see him running full speed again. And what did old Lyle Texas 140 something WRC plus best at the start of a season in his career, throwing on to Cal Raleigh with the 4th best WRC plus in all of baseball. In all of baseball, behind only Freeman and Judge and Ohtani.
Crazy.
It's Cal Raleigh right there. Like, yeah, man, this has been we're nearing 50 games here, and enough guys are kind of doing enough work that sitting here in first place in the American League West does not feel very surprising.
No, I mean, clearly that is what you're watching. And another small thing I liked this weekend, Polanco wasn't really a part of it.
Yep.
Not that I like that he wasn't a part of it. I don't mean that, but like it didn't seem to affect them. Like he was a guy that was sort of your red hot offensive player who was well over his skis for a while. He came back to earth. Also not playing against, like, I don't know exactly what's going on with Polanco. Maybe there's some injury there again. I don't know. But it didn't slow them down. Like, oh, that's fine. Nope. Tellez just hit a couple home runs. Oh, that's fine. You just put in Rivas, and he'll make a couple of defensive plays at second. Oh, that's fine. You just do, like, Dylan Moore late in the game, come up with a big hit. Like, that's, I guess, what I mean by the relentlessness of it. I was making a comp to Scotty Scheffler earlier, and it's weird because I don't know that they're ultimately that similar, the Mariners and Scotty Scheffler. But those two words definitely describe Scotty, right? He leads all of golf in bounce-back birdies after bogeys. Maybe just because he gets a lot of birdies, but also because the bogeys don't set him back. He comes right back, and he's very resilient. He managed to deal with those mud balls, Brock. Those mud balls were driving him crazy on Thursday, and he comes and battles back to win.
Well,
and
you know and I know.
And he is certainly relentless. I mean, like, just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming like a Terminator. So I don't know whether I would necessarily comp the two in general, but in those two ways, they do feel sort of similar.
Yeah, and you know, and I know, over 162 games, if you can sustain that level of just kind of relentlessness from everybody on the roster, no matter where they are and when they come onto your team and how many times they go back and forth to Tacoma, if you kind of got that vibe of relentlessness on top of being resilient in a baseball season, when you have a bad homestand, that was what I was curious about. Okay, this is first real bump in the road. I know they started the season a little bit slow, but to come home and lose 5 of 6 and get swept, you know, kind of first little bump in the road, how are you going to handle that? How are you going to bounce back from that? And geesh, if they're capable of doing this relentlessly with this resiliency, we are looking at one heck of a fun summer.
That's for sure. All right, a little debate coming at 7:30 about these Mariners. Before we do it, we'll come back, give you guys everything you need to know next on Brock and Salk.
Only Brock and Salk in Seattle sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
I
are you?
bet. I get it. Yeah. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, if you were like Molly and I, and just kind of with the same insurance carrier for so long, and you just assumed you were getting the best rates, you just assumed you were getting the proper coverage, well, now is not a time where you need to be assuming anything. It's time for you to do what Molly and I did, my mom did. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Mom. What many of my friends have done, go take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. I am really glad we did. Not only has it saved us significant money on our premiums the last couple years, heck, we had a change to our carrier. Our carrier just said, we're out. We're out of this business. And instead of feeling the normal stress and confusion you feel with insurance, First Mark, well, they come right alongside you. Here's how they do it. They've done it this way for over 30 years. Number one, they check in your coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. Then, well, unlike you and me, they go to the market. Dozens of major carriers they have worked with for decades to find you the best fit. No stress, no confusion. They're your teammate, and they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families manage this complicated world of insurance. So please don't wait a Monday morning longer. Take the First Mark Challenge. It's totally free, and you might be that next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com. Your teammate. that goes to work for you.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin. Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers, and one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org/Nourishing Champions.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Dave Wyman here with an incredibly special guest, the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy's a proud Seattle sports listener and recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, tell us about your treatment.
The entire treatment was just 5 days, less than an hour a day. I spent more time commuting to the appointment than actually being in treatment.
Any side effects during or after?
I've had very few side effects. I've been very lucky to not have some of the side effects that I was worried about with other treatments.
What would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife, and I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Thank you, Andy, and congratulations. Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly. You don't even need a referral. Go to swedish.org/CyberKnife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. up first.
Well, it was a rough week at home, but the Mariners roared back to life. Oh, my gosh. In San Diego, they did it all. Started with the pitching, I think you've got to say. They only allow 3 runs in the series. The starting rotation allows 2. The bullpen allows 1. Just complete dominance, really, from start to finish. Starting Brian Wu yesterday. We'll give him some credit.
Into the motion. Here's the 1-2. Strike 3 called, freeze him. Upper rung 94, zipped it by him. Brian Wu, dominant in San Diego. 11 in a row put down, 16 of 17 put away for Brian Wu. A special day in sunny San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, he gives up the leadoff home run to start the game, and that was it. I mean, after that, he just unbelievable. Doesn't allow a run over the next 7 innings, barely in trouble, 5 hits, no walks. And that coming on the heels of what they'd already gotten from Logan Evans and then from Emerson Hancock in the bullpen on Saturday. Just complete dominance on the pitching side.
Yeah, and that's just yet again another outing, right? Every outing this year, he's gone 6+ innings, and yesterday was 7+. The defense behind him was great, but it was just it was precision. And if the blue behind the plate is going to give him a ball outside, right, and he's going to give him a little bit of that room on the corners, I really don't know how you hit that guy. You know, with his sweeper and with that fastball command and everything, is just hard as it is to pick up and see. He'd be one of those guys, like if we were facing him, it'd just be miserable. Now, we beat him because that's what we do. The Mariners just find a way to beat every single ace out there.
Yeah.
But you know it'd be one of those games, like I don't know how you ever hit this guy when he is on.
Well,
and yesterday was one of those days.
6 home runs in the series as well. So the offense did what they needed to do. The defense was tremendous. We mentioned Leo Rivas.
Here's Wu's pitch. Swung on, line drive on the dive. Rivas knocks it down. It's in front of him, gets to his feet, fires to first. In time, he got him. Leonardo Rivas, a gold star there. Great play. It looked like that was going into right field.
Leonardo. Da Vinci over here. All right. Hey, we'll take it, man. We'll take it. All right. So, yeah, most impressive series of the season. They outscore San Diego 15-3. They'll head to Chicago. The White Sox are, of course, not good. They've won only 14 games all year. You get Luis Castillo tonight, Logan Evans on Wednesday. Not sure who's going to pitch tomorrow. Right now it's TBD. Will that be Jonathan Diaz? Maybe. Will it be Casey Lawrence? Bullpen day? I don't know. I don't know exactly what it looks like. My guess is that you're going to see George Kirby return in Houston. So I don't know. Don't know what that looks like yet. But that is, I guess, the one question mark left for this series.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Yeah, I got to admit, Brock, 5 years, $265 for Brock Purdy feels like a lot of money. A lot of money for Brock Purdy. But that's the extension he signs on Friday. $53 million per year, $180 guaranteed, and a full no trade clause. Again, I always thought Geno should hold out and wait until after Brock Purdy signed and say, all right, well, I want at least as much per year as he got. Geno got 2 years, $75. This guy gets $53 a year.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, I really honestly thought that this would be the organization. Either Shanahan or McVay. One of these two guys would be the team and the organization to kind of break that trend of well, he's good, but he's not great. He's very solid, but he's not elite. And just say, we can't pay that. We can't do this because we can all see the numbers and what happens to the rest of the roster once you squeeze it with that kind of commitment, right? To go from Garoppolo to Vance and then to Purdy. Remember, Garoppolo got him to a Super Bowl just as close to a Super Bowl win as he did.
It's surprising. I am surprised they're spending that much on it.
Do you think that's a little bit of job security?
I don't know.
John Lynch and a Shanahan to say, yeah, you know what, we need to do this to buy ourselves another. That also doesn't feel right.
None of it feels right. It does feel like a lot of money. And as Harry Douglas points out, the expectations for Purdy have to go sky high.
Because of the way that you are now compensated at the quarterback position. If there are a boatload of injuries that happen to the San Francisco 49ers like we seen last year, yeah, I gave you the benefit of the doubt a season ago. But you also wasn't making $53 million a year. Now you're making that. Mm-hmm. And I don't care who's out there, who's not out there. I expect you to elevate your football team and still make plays.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if he's capable of doing that.
I'll tell you what he is, though, man. He is the epitome of what Jordan Palmer talked about. Mm-hmm. Ball and play. Ball and play. Put the ball in play. all the time, right? And just be kind of unflappable.
Is that
Continue
worth
to put the ball in play.
$53 million a year? I think that's the question they're going to find out, especially once it starts to come at the expense of some of the other, things that have made your team great over the course of the last 5-6 years.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Nothing in sports right now feels as inevitable as a Scotty Scheffler win. You get that guy, what? What feels more inevitable than that?
The Toronto Maple Leafs balloon.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. Obviously, that was going to happen.
I think that probably feels...
Sorry, that's been true, though, forever. I mean, that's not a new thing. The Scotty thing is new. Obviously, the Maple Leafs are going to choke in a Game 7, blow a series. That's an obvious one. But, man, Scotty, when he's like that, Brock, nobody can beat him. And he benefited a little bit from kind of a weak leaderboard yesterday. But, Rahm got himself into it. It kind of felt like he used up all of his energy and juice to get himself into it and then didn't really have anything left at that point. But I mean, when Scotty's like that, he just wins, and it doesn't even look cool. He just hits every good shot.
And now, Salt, we got Caitlin Clark with muscles. I mean, it was trending Saturday. I mean, she got a little bit of strength. She can shove Caitlin or Reese right down to the ground and get some flagrant call, which was an absolute joke. But she puts up a triple-double in her first game out. Fever are pretty legit this year.
Oh, they look great.
Last year, it was a Caitlin story. This year, I think your comp's a pretty good one, by the way.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about her in the 9 o'clock hour, talk about that whole play. We got some time kind of carved out to talk about all that. The only thing I would disagree with you, that's a flagrant foul.
No.
Of course it is. It's not a dirty foul, but it's a flagrant, of course.
Okay.
That's the definition of it. She did it, huh?
Fouled her hard.
Yeah, and in a spot, the way she did it, it's a flagrant foul. I don't think Caitlin would have any problem with that call.
Right.
It's a flagrant. Okay. But that's it. I didn't have any problem with any of it, by the way. I thought it was great.
It's great theater.
Yeah.
Not a conversation.
Angel pushes Boston.
Right.
Caitlin pushes her back.
Let's go.
That's how it's supposed to be. That's basketball. Good on them. Yes. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. And yes, the Leafs did. I mean, they didn't just lose Game 7. They got run out of the building. I'll repeat what I said last week.
I don't think they were wearing a sports bra.
Dude, they are the sports bra. Forget wearing one. They are one.
I don't even know that. I think they're more of a...
Lots of support.
Of a
no
bro
cups.
Tank. I think they're more bro tank.
Yes. Well, there's no support to the bro tank.
Exactly.
Well, they have a lot of support.
Oh.
They have a lot of support from their fans, but the moment things go awry, they go poorly quickly.
Not good.
Yes. Salk only says it's a flagrant foul because Caitlin Clark committed it. Yes, because I'm a noted Caitlin Clark hater. You've got me right on that one, 425. You've nailed it. Yep. Certainly not must-viewing TV in my house. No, it's a flagrant. I think it's paper.
We'll talk about this in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll have a good little debate. By the way, did you also see what all the Mariner minor leaguers did this weekend?
Yeah.
They also decided just to put on a show. Your guy up in Everett, your left and right-handed pitcher. Your guy up in Everett, you're the shortstop that just continues to make web jam after web jam, and absolutely he's on fire. Cole Young, whose bat is lightning hot. Only Harry Ford is, probably pushing him. So as cool as this is at the major league level, holy smokes, there's an inferno burning in the minor league level at every level.
Well, I've been using the blackjack analogy to describe baseball and the Mariners for as long as I can remember. But I think this weekend, Brock, something else just clicked with me, and the Mariners have a different deity to which I think they're praying. Why the Mariners may have become George Costanza. Next on Brock and Salk.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious. They're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. Those 2 games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and yeah, summer in Western Washington, it can mean a lot of things, right? Beach, barbecues, golfing, vacation you've been looking forward to. But when you take all those pictures, don't you want to look and feel your very best? Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help, and trust me, you can do it super fast. I lost 15 pounds in the first 2 weeks. I lost 35 pounds after just 8 weeks, so you got time now, right? What are you waiting for? Do it now. Schedule a 15-minute, no-obligation consult right now. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. And what can you expect? Well, safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss. No exercise, no pills, no injections, certainly no surgery. Just real food that you buy at the grocery store, eaten in the right proportions with the right recipe so it all tastes good. And you will lose weight and you will look and feel your very best. The secret? You'll find it out in only 15 minutes with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Schedule your quick intro today at eastsideweightlossklinik.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we've been exclusively plumbers for over 100 years. No corny mascots, no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional plumbers out to your home fast. All rooter and all trenchless. O'Neill Plumbing.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
When the heat's in 11,
Cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave. Keep your house cool and safe.
dayandnight.net.
Make sure your AC will keep you cool when the summer heat gets here. Save $50 on a pre-summer AC tune-up. When the heat's at 11, stay cool with Day and Night.
dayandnight.net.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Yes, I've used that blackjack analogy for a really long time, right, Brock? Talking about baseball specifically, and it's not perfect, and I'll tell you why here in a moment, and I think this year is showing that a little bit. But the idea is that in blackjack, you can make the right decision, but it doesn't always work, and you can make the wrong decision sometimes, and it will work, right? Blackjack is played out over a series of many, 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 many hands, and if you play the odds over enough hands, it will eventually work out in your favor. And if you play against the odds over enough hands, it will eventually hurt you. But in one night of playing, you can go out and make a whole bunch of boneheaded decisions, get the right cards, and it'll work, right? That's kind of the way blackjack is. So I've used that analogy many times to say, hey, sometimes you got a bad hand and you try to hit it and it still doesn't work, and it is what it is because you were in a bad hand. Anyway, we've talked through that many, many times, and I do think there is a blackjack element to what we've seen with the Mariners this year, where the decision-making is sometimes not necessarily by the book, but it's worked, and so you wonder whether or not that is, long-term or not.
Before you get to your Costanza and better comp, how come no craps in your life? Because I've heard craps is a very similar. Like you can get it all the way down to what, like 3%, even less odds?
3.3. No, craps has the best odds. Why? Easy answer. It takes, you've got to put up a lot of money to get that advantage. So let's say you can find like at this point in Vegas, let's say you even find a $10 table. You've got to throw 10 on the pass line, and then you've got to put 10 on 6 and 10 on 8. Now you got $30 up there. Then you got to back all of those up with another probably $30 a piece. So now all of a sudden you've got almost $100 out there at one time. Okay. And if it goes, it goes.
Yep.
So craps is like if you've made a bunch of money already, it's fun to go over to the craps table and start playing it right, but you got to have a pretty big bankroll.
Because that's Coach Heward's deal right there.
Craps
right? For the food banks.
Well, I don't know.
He always lets me know when he wins because he lets me know like a Pharisee his donation to the food banks. So
we don't all make the kind of bank that Coach Mike does.
Coach Heward does.
Yeah, exactly. Right. No, you got to have some scratch to really make craps work for you. That's kind of why I've been more of a blackjack guy.
All right, so that's craps.
So that's blackjack, and it's an effective but not perfect example because the biggest difference in baseball is it's not just luck of the draw. There's an actual execution element to it. So whether you make the right percentage move or not, the player still has the opportunity to beat it by being better or worse than they're supposed to be. But the more I watch and think about this Mariner team this year and the reaction so many people had in the offseason to not doing a whole lot and some of the decisions that have been made in-game during the course of the year, I don't think it's blackjack. I think it's Costanza.
Every decision I've ever made in my entire life has been wrong. My life is the complete opposite of everything I want it to be. Every instinct I have in...
If every instinct you have is wrong, then the opposite would have to be right.
Yes. I will do the opposite. I used to sit here and do nothing and regret it for the rest of the day. So now I will do the opposite, and I will do something. Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice that you were looking in my direction.
Oh, yes, I was. You just ordered the same exact lunch as me.
My name is George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents.
I'm Victoria. Hi.
There you go. I'm Victoria. Hi. There is an opposite element here to these Mariners, Brock, where doing the opposite for them is working. Now, careful, because that doesn't end well for George at the end of the episode, but at least for now, everything they're doing that is confusing to a lot of people who have been observing them for a long time is working. Right? Rather than just cutting ties with everybody this offseason that didn't work out, they stayed with Jorge Polanco and they brought back Dylan Moore and they brought, rather than doing the things that everyone wanted them to do and expected them to do, they said, no, I think we're going to stick with this group that we have, and we're going to trust that, coaching is going to make a difference. And for everyone like me who thinks that hitting coaches are essentially a pretty unimportant part of a baseball team's organization, they're proving right now that the opposite seems to be the truth as the team is hitting better than they have in ages, with many of the same players there to do it. In-game decision-making, again, I thought Saturday was another confusing night of moves from the two Dans. I don't know that I would go with Legumina in the 8th to face the heart of the order. I don't know that I would have let both Dylan Moore and Solano hit against the righty in the 9th, but all three of those moves work perfectly. Solano took a walk to get his OPS back up over 300. Nice job. It had dipped down to about 295. But for whatever reason, the righty didn't want to throw him strikes. I would have lobbed the ball directly down the middle of the plate and allowed him to miss. But whatever. They decided to walk him, so he gets his OPS back up over 300. And then Dylan Moore against a righty, who's been decent now this year, comes up with a huge single to drive in a couple of key runs, and you end up winning that game. The opposite of every instinct seems to be the right thing right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. A couple of my baseball buddies, have kind of said this over the course of these 50 games or so, and kind of made the point, and it's I think tangential to yours, and that is just simplifying the game. And we've heard that a bunch, right? Just try to simplify the process in the batter's box. And then the other thing that we really said since week 1 there, what was that, in late February, early March of spring training when we were down there, I'll hold on to something Shannon Dreher said to us then that I think has kind of played out. In fact, this is a funny thing. For those of you that aren't yet parents, you'll notice this. Salk has noticed this. I got a full house now. Macy's home for a couple weeks. Haley's home till the wedding. Even Dylan's was home all weekend with us. Like, it is a full house. And Haley the other day at night, late night movie, falls asleep. Falls asleep with a hand above her head. And literally, our first picture when we got the ultrasound when Molly was pregnant. You know how Haley's hand was?
Funny.
Right above her head.
That's really
Still
funny.
sleeps 22, 3 years later the same way she did in that ultrasound.
In the womb.
In the womb.
Wow.
In the womb.
Hey, old habits die hard.
So I'm going to hold on to something Shannon said in late February, and that is you just feel this player empowerment. Like just freedom and just empowerment. And we're just going to believe in guys. And, is it always going to make the most sense to that process? No. But, Legumina, we believe in you right here, man. I know it's the middle of the order, but I do want Mooney to face all the left-handed guys since we had to use Spire at the right time, by the way. Played the card right there in the 5th to get out of a jam there. And I trust Mooney's stuff against those lefties more than I do Vargas or somebody else. And if Legumina runs into some trouble, which he did, you know what we're going to do for the first time all year? Mooney's going to have a 4+ out save.
Yeah.
End up being just 4. But, Legumina giving up a couple base runners or a hit, could we have seen Mooney for 5 outs?
I mean, maybe.
Possibly.
I mean, if Merrill hits a huge home run, then everything kind of feels very different. And you're
Very
like,
different.
wait, why did you allow Legumina to face the heart of this order when look, again, it's worked out. I'm not sitting here complaining about it, even though it sounds like I am, and maybe I am, because it's just not how I would do it.
Well, you're not alone in that. Jason Churchill is fired up.
Yeah, well,
I realize he's super. He gets super fired up, as does Goldie up in the booth, and you can hear it with Goldie.
Yeah,
you want to talk about poker and cards? He'll give you some tells, like, huh.
He's like, and so they're gonna go with Legumina here. Okay. Anyway, yeah, let's see what happens.
And we're gonna go Dylan Moore, righty on righty here.
Yeah, I mean, that it's been it's interesting, man. It's a good reminder that in-game decisions don't matter nearly as much as how you've kind of empowered a team and led a team and prepped a team, because unlike blackjack, where the card coming out is 100% luck. You can play the odds as much as possible to try to narrow down what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, there is no skill whatsoever to what the next card is going to be. And in baseball, like, Dylan Moore may not be as good a hitter against righties as he is against lefties, but how he fares in that moment is in some way up to Dylan Moore and how well he plays and how well he's been prepped and all of that. So even if the decisions aren't giving you necessarily the best odds to succeed, the player may destroy those odds and overcome those odds because their execution may be good, and those are the players on your team. And maybe it does come back to help you later when Dylan Moore has to face a righty in a playoff game and, you don't have the right guy at the bench, and then he ends up getting a big hit. I heard from Munoz, and this is maybe the biggest debate that would come after this. Munoz, after the game, says it's been really, really good for me because I know when I'm going to get in. There's some expectations, but most of the times I know when I'm going to get in, and I think that's been a huge difference. I mean, he was pretty good before he was only pitching the 9th inning, so I don't know whether it's actually made a huge difference or not, but I prefer to use my best pitcher when the game dictates it, not because in the 9th inning the game turns into magic. Like, I just think that and this has been my take. I've mentioned this before. The demo tape that I sent to this station in 2009 was about that. It was about using your best reliever at the biggest times of the game and calling him your bullpen ace rather than a closer. If that allowed him to, feel good about himself, fine. I just, whatever. It's working.
Interesting. So he's basically saying,
I like pitching the ninth.
Those final 3 outs that, baseball has said for 150 years, it's 3 outs in a game to get, regardless of
about 150. They've said it for about 30
about
years.
270 years since it was started in Croatia.
I would say about 30 years since they started really having closers, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, final 30
Maybe
years.
40.
Yeah, those are the most difficult outs, and he's saying at least, and whether that's psychological, again, like this is where the analytics and the process always has some cool friction, right? With some of the purists or the old school or whatever, there's going to be some friction there. And is it like, oh, this is 100% fact, and this is why Mooney's doing this year is because now who knows? Maybe it's a placebo, so maybe some of it's just a placebo effect. You don't know, but at least for him, and he's saying there that, hey, man, I know when I'm pitching. I know I'm going to be in the 9th. I know I got a chance to close it out. And he's been absolutely nails. Yet another reason this team's in first place, because the dude's not giving up an earned run all season long.
Yeah, and he's gotten even better, right? Like, I mean, you know how many pitchers in baseball right now have a ground ball rate of 75% and a strikeout rate of 35%?
Yeah.
Well, that would be 0 others.
Just one.
So part of me thinks about that has this allowed him to get even better than he already was.
Well.
And the other part that I would kind of ask you guys is this. So Munoz was used in a lot of different roles last year, right? And he was used, again, in those high leverage situations. They would use him in the 7th or 8th inning against the best hitters. I do wonder how much of that last year was because of the fact you didn't have Matt Brash, you didn't have Gabe Spire. You had to find a way to try to fill the void of that loss, and you used him in more situations where now you have other guys to
Last year, I think that was true with Munoz, but overall, it was definitely that's how Seawald sort of became Seawald, right? As they used him into all these different spots and said, hey, we're playing the A's, and Chapman's the biggest, or Olson's the biggest threat, so we're going to use Seawald against him, and they sort of set it up that way. I'm not going to sit here and say that all the things that for the last 5 or 6 years we said were great and helped the Mariners actually get more out of their pen than anybody else thought they could, and then turn around when they make some changes to that and say, no, this is the right way to do it. Like, I don't know. I think it's the way the in-game decision-making probably doesn't mean a whole lot, and what does matter is the way it's communicated. And for a long time, we praised the way it was communicated to Seawald and Steckenrider and, Casey, all those guys, right? Like, we talked a lot about how important that communication was. Now they're communicating in their own new way. And maybe it's, hey, you get the 9th and you're taking this pocket and you're taking that pocket, and that's how it's going to work today or this series. And certainly on the hitting side of it, whatever communication they're doing is mattering worlds more than the in-game decision-making is, because the guys are doing things they haven't done in a long time.
Yeah, Kyle's the best he's been. Randy's the best that he's been, right? JP is back to form from 2 years ago that he has been. Like, it's just, and then every kind of newbie as well is coming in and playing and contributing in some different way. And even Big Boy the Eclipse, Yeah, there's 3 strikeouts here. There's nothing there. But then, boom, there's a home run. And then, boom, there's a home run. And as Jeff Passan said, hey, man, if you want to offset your deficiencies, hit home runs.
Well, they did.
Hit home runs in today's game. And, boy, he is
6-1 this weekend, right? 6-1 in terms of home runs. You only allow 1 home run in a weekend, you're probably going to sweep the series, and that's exactly what the Mariners did. A lot more baseball to talk coming up, but right now let's do some Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, it's about 45 years on closers, right? Kind of around 1980. That's about right. Yeah, that's about right. Early
Lee
80s,
Smith.
really, when that started. But it certainly is not the whole history of baseball. 45. We'll go 45 years. That sounds about right. Brock, what is the one redeeming quality that Brock Purdy has that Sam Darnold's still figuring out?
Yeah, I honestly, from a skill set, size, strength, arm, all that stuff, Sam Darnold. But I think what Brock Purdy has shown is just a tremendous amount of poise, no matter the circumstance. I was really trying to sink my teeth in because part of me felt like, honestly, just organizationally and where John Lynch is, Hall of Fame guy, and in his career where Kyle Shanahan is, kind of with his nature and his personality, this would be the group. That'd be the GM and the head coach. It would say, yeah, man, I'm sorry. We're just not following the same process as everybody else, and we'll take a risk. But look at what we've done and look at how we uncovered him the first time around as Mr. Irrelevant. But I think ultimately what they landed on was, you know what, there's not a lot of guys that play with this kind of poise and in these kind of moments again and again and again. And the guys believe in him. The guys believe in him. Yeah, he doesn't have a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He throws 88 to 91, if that. So his command's got to be spot on, and he's really accurate. But yeah, just that poise, Salk, in the biggest moments. That for Sam Darnold, I think, will be the story here in 2025. That is what Vegas is betting against. That is what national pundits are betting against. They're thinking that he's going to be Sam, the guy he was in New York, at times in Carolina, and even at the end of Minnesota. That, you know, when the game was on the line, you got to play that hand. That it just was off the rails. And for Brock Purdy, over the course of his young career, when the moments got big and the adversity's gotten high, that dude has responded with a tremendous amount of poise. That will be the narrative and the story, I think, honestly, for Sam Darnold here in 2025.
All right, question number 2. We talked briefly about this on Friday, this story about, you know, that Seth Wickersham had on the Bears and Caleb Williams and him saying,
hey. You
never
want, by the way? You never want Seth
I know.
sniffing around your spot.
He's a hell of a reporter, man. And this report is essentially that Caleb Williams, like, yeah, nobody ever really helped me watch film. I have to watch it all by myself right from the beginning. How unusual is that? Did someone teach you how to watch film in the NFL?
Yeah, and then you see RG3 say this is criminal.
Right.
This is, and then you have Kurt Warner kind of retort back to RG3. This is all on Twitter. Like, nobody taught me how to do this. You got to be a self-learner. I mean, that's part of being a professional, what you're paid to do.
It's funny that they use that word taught. I didn't see him saying no one taught me. I saw him saying essentially, I was left to just watch it by myself from day one.
I can't imagine that. That would be criminal, and that's against everything that Shane Waldron was in L.A., everything against what he was in Seattle. I mean, we never heard that from. I mean, that's hard for me to believe.
Okay,
I think it does lean into, yeah, this is a very different system. In Lincoln Riley's system, Salk, and I know this pretty intimately. He really spoon feeds an unbelievable amount of information to the quarterback in ways that, like my nephew said, he's never seen it before. Like, this is amazing. You know, the work that he does to really put the, you know, here you go. Here's here's the recipe, right? I've done all the work, and here's the recipe. And now, you know, just read this and read that and read this. And it's like, yeah, you see why all of his guys have a tremendous amount of success. You get to the NFL, and you know what you got to do on your own? Yeah, man, you got to learn the ingredients. You got to figure out what makes you tick. You got to go home, as Peyton Manning did, for 3 or 4 hours and really study. That Tom Brady did, that those guys did, that Kurt Warner did. So I was thinking back through that. Did Mike Shepard, Scott Linehan a little bit in college? I think it was a great foray for me as he went on to the NFL. He taught me a lot of game, but it's a lot of what you do, right? It's my scheme, and I got to learn my stuff, and then you learn the defense. Like there's a progression to that. And I don't know. I think Caleb Williams thought he'd get to the NFL and he would be spoon-fed the way that he was with Lincoln Riley. And that's not the way the NFL works. Not the way it works at all. You've got to be a self-learner, and you've got to find your own methodologies, to best put into practice to have success.
All right, question number.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I'm going to guess the reality of that situation is somewhere in between. No, they didn't 100% leave him alone, but if you got a rookie quarterback, number 1 overall pick, don't you think the head coach and the offensive coordinator should be invested in working with him and all of that?
And I don't think Shane's got a kind of conviction.
Right.
And we've talked about that. We even did when he was here, a kind of command, like, hey, man, follow me. Like a Lincoln Riley does, like the great coordinators do. Like, this is what we're going to do. Boom, 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 boom.
I don't think they needed to teach him every second of how to watch film.
Yeah.
But clearly there was the ball must have been dropped in some way if he comes away feeling like he was essentially left to his own devices. That's how that's my take on it. Question number 3. All right, so there's been a lot of conversation and we've got a ton of sound maybe for tomorrow from Bill Belichick, who was talking through, what podcast was that on?
He's doing some circuits now.
The Pivot.
Clark's.
Oh, yeah, he's everywhere, talking to Ryan Clark. But what do you need to see, Brock? How will he transition from the pros to college?
What was Belichick's greatest strength over 20 years there in New England? What was he known for?
Taking away whatever it is you do best.
That's one. And number 2 was his situational superiority.
Yes.
Right? And that's what Fred Taylor, Fred must have played for Bill, right? At some point late in his career or something?
He did. Late.
Yeah, very, very briefly. Fred Taylor, as Belichick tried to poo-poo and, be humble, and Fred was like, no, come on, cut number 11 here. Bill, you were really, really good situationally.
You're being very modest right now. See, because I think the NFL game it comes down to, like, the margin for error is so thin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody's amazing. All of the players are great.
Everybody's good.
Very elite. But you have to be, as you said, in those positions. I think situationally, that's the one thing I learned the most from you during my time in New England that was different than when I was in Jacksonville. Just situational football. You had us prepared, those little quizzes that we would do on Thursdays. We would come in and we would know if it's fourth quarter, down by this amount of points, what they were running, and all this different stuff. So we were extremely prepared situationally. And I think that's a big part of it, right? Not every coach had that, or at least in the places that I've been.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And, Salk, Bob Wischusen, who does the Jets and has for years and years, when I was in the booth with him, gets so frustrated. He'd kind of be like some of this baseball process, like, this is not the way you do it. And these college guys, just situationally, because there is more margin for error.
Mm-hmm.
NFL game, 8 to 10 possessions. College game, previous college game, up to 15 possessions. So the situational awareness was not as magnified collegiately as it was professionally. It's a little different now with the clock rules changing in college football, but it still is nowhere near like it is in the NFL, where those situations end of half, those situations, third down, red zone, like, that's a game. And I will be very curious to watch this year how much of his situational superiority, which he's had, really comes into play at the college level.
All right, there you go. That is today's Blue 88.
Because think of it the other way.
Yeah.
The guy that dominated college football for a decade, who we chatted with last Wednesday, was situational superiority.
Not always. Not always.
Or was it just immense talent, just enthusiasm, just competitive fire and grit?
It
and
was
toughness?
probably a little closer
Every decision
to
I've ever made
this.
in my entire life has been wrong.
Right?
My life is the complete opposite of everything I wanted to be.
That timeout.
Just a little closer to that.
You keep harping about timeouts.
Yeah. Okay. We will get back to some baseball talk. Angie Mentink will join us at 8:30 from Root Sports. Looking forward to that. Before we do it, though, Brock, I saw a list this weekend of 5 teams. Seahawks should be on there, but I know why they're not, and it's next on Brock and Salk.
Only Brock and Salk and Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me?
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How
Yeah,
are
I
you?
bet. I get it. Yeah, you haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we've been exclusively plumbers for over 100 years. No corny mascots, no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional plumbers out to your home fast. All rooter and all trenchless. O'Neill Plumbing.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. The first Mariners fireworks night is coming up, and we're starting things off with a bang. Be here on Friday, May 30th for our K-Pop fireworks show, presented by T-Mobile, after the team takes on the Twins at 7:10.
Jorge Polanco, his second home run of the night. He is absolutely on fire.
Get ready for an epic dance party as we light up the sky with a post-game show powered by the biggest global hits. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
JP with a flip, and they got him at first base. How in the world?
Visit Mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of all 6 Mariners fireworks nights this summer, including a sing-along show on June 13th and a patriotic palooza on July 3rd. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, like 3 straight Mariners value games against the Orioles starting Tuesday, June 3rd. Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to see you on the interview.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! I saw this list over the weekend, Brock, and I wish the Seahawks were on it. I know why they're not. I'm not saying they should be on it. But I saw this list, and I said, man, I really wish the Seahawks were one of the 5 teams on this list. They needed to be, and they're not. So let's kind of talk through this and see if we can figure out why and all of that. I printed it too small, so I got to bring out the readers to see this. But here you go. This is Pro Football Focus. I know you like Pro Football Focus, right?
Uh-huh.
Most improved offensive lines over the course of this offseason. Number 1, Chicago Bears.
Chicago.
Number 2,
Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Number 3, New England. Number 4, Washington. Number 5, Jacksonville. Now, they only listed 5. Maybe the Seahawks are 6th. I don't know. But you know what list you'd really like to be on if you were the Seahawks right now? The most improved offensive line list.
Yeah.
So, like all things, Brock, we're taught to question everything. All right, well, should the Seahawks be on that list? Have they improved their offensive line? After all, they brought in Gray Zabel. They drafted a couple guys later in the draft. Should they be higher on this list? And you know what I came up with? No, they probably shouldn't be. They had 3 major holes in their offensive line, and they added 1 presumed starter. And he's exciting. I'm excited about Gray Zabel. I love the pick. But it's 1 guy, right? I mean, like, it's 1 guy, and he's a rookie. So putting all of your faith into 1 rookie plus coaching and development to be the major difference in your offensive line, I think it's a pretty big stretch and a reason why you're not listed here on the 5 most improved offensive lines, even though that was clearly the biggest need you had heading into the offseason. In fact, we asked Mike Mayock about it, like, hey, what about, we weren't even really asking about that. We were saying, hey, what about using your first 3 picks on non-premium positions?
I struggle with that a little bit because I think you can get caught up in that, especially in today's shifting NFL. I believe you draft great football players regardless of position. And, you know, the Zabel pick to me is, you know, he could kick out and play right tackle in a pinch. There's no problem there. I mean, if you look at that draft, my biggest question is less about that and more about just, I don't know, because I didn't do the tape of the 6th and 7th round offensive linemen. So I don't know how good they are or what they're going to contribute. But my biggest issue going into last year was the O-line. And going into this year, Zabel will be the 1 addition.
He kind of adds on from there, Brock.
I love the signing of Cooper Kupp. I love Torrey Horton. I love Arroyo and Font. I love that I think they're going to become a much better run game if that offensive line can handle it. So I think from a skill set offensively, I think they're in really good position. I just hope the offensive line is able to allow them to run the football and protect the quarterback at a higher level.
I mean, again, still just the same question marks that you had a year ago.
Well, if this was a pro football talk, I would have shot it down. I would have shot it down in blaze of glory and said, well, once again, it's just kind of the national audience that doesn't know this team as well as we do, because they don't know about Abe Lucas, right? And as Hawkblogger talked to us about when you kind of asked him the question, did they do enough on the O-line? That's where he pointed to right away. Like, well, Abe Lucas right now is in a better spot than he's ever been in his career. And he's in a contract year and looking to play 17 games and be the difference maker he was as a rookie when he was healthy. And now he's got all this season experience. So you're talking about 2 bookends that, you know, most people would be very envious to have, especially at their age. and upside. He went on further to say, man, if this thing does click, you have just a remarkable opportunity to grow together for a long time. And I'll tell you what I do love, Salk. I do love, and this has been very different than years past, I do love that you have 4 guys battling for a spot, right? That you have in Abe and Charles, and Gray Zabel's your left guard, going to be your starting left guard, there's not going to be competition there. But the other side, you got Laumea, you got Bradford, you got Haynes, and you got Cabledew. You got 4 dudes that are going to absolutely every single practice have to be on point every day for the next 2 months leading up to training camp. Because if they're not, they may not make this roster, and they may not be in the NFL for a couple of them. So I kind of like that sense of urgency and that kind of depth of competition that I don't think we have seen in a long, long time here in Seattle. So that's how I would offset it. But PFF does look at the grades. And obviously in Chicago, they added a bunch of veteran guys that, have had some productive football. Minnesota went that route. We'll see if Fries can stay healthy or not. That will also be a huge watch. But, unfortunately, there's not a track record of success to put you on that top 5 list.
A month and a half ago, Brock, I would have said this is a huge mess. A month and a half ago, I would have said the idea.
No, you did.
Of counting on your coaching staff changes to be enough to draw blood from a rock and, get more out of the guys that were here a year ago, I would have said this plan doesn't make any sense. You need more talent. You need new players. The guys that are here aren't good enough. Your first offensive lineman that you drafted last year couldn't even get on the field. You didn't go after anybody in free agency, even though there were some guys that I think probably could have helped. You only really drafted 1 guy in the first, 4 rounds? And while that's nice, I'm excited about Gray Zabel. It's not enough. Like, where is the difference going to come from other than that you brought in a couple of new guys and a new scheme and, whatever that means. And I would have said to you, Brock, if you've got 4 guys battling for 1 spot and 2 guys battling for the other, that means you've got 6 guys for 2 spots, which means you have none. You're not battling at left tackle. You're not battling at right tackle. You're only battling at the spots where you don't have enough guys that have solidified their hold on the position. A month and a half ago, Brock, I would have told you that is a fool's errand and it's got no chance to work.
And now?
But I've seen the light, my brother. I've seen the Mariners do exactly that and now have one of the best offenses in baseball. So clearly, I am not going to go down the road of saying that coaching can just fix the whole thing because my eyes are telling me the exact opposite of that.
Can I confess something to you?
Yeah.
Do you like these confessions every once in a while?
Not usually. No, I never know where they're going to go. They make me nervous.
I don't know if you're going to like this one.
Great.
And this probably also won't be terribly popular, but I got a confession. I always had a hard time with Costanza. And you want to know why? You want to know why I had a hard time with George?
Because you're not Jewish?
His body.
No, not his body. No, stop it, Salk. Dump that. That's so rude. No, it's because he was such a punk in Pretty Woman. I hated him. He was such a deplorable, despicable character in Pretty Woman that I couldn't get past that.
I'm sorry.
I can't get past that.
That's sad for you.
It is sad.
You really missed out.
I know.
Most people don't associate him immediately with that role. I think his problem is he got so typecast as George. It was hard for him to do anything else afterwards.
He had that little tail in Shallow Hal at the end of his spine. He had a little wiggle tail.
Sure.
There's just some things about George that I had a hard time
Right.
with.
I mean, those are Jason Alexander, not George. I think that's kind of the difference.
Yeah, I know.
So because he was a different character, you just don't like him, period?
Yeah, I just had a hard time ever taking George.
I mean, I've had actors or actresses like that. I always just think they did a really good job in whatever role they were in if you hate them that much.
I still feel that way. I mean, the one person I will admit, I still hate Bradley Cooper from Wedding Crashers. I don't care.
Awesome in that.
I know he's unbelievable, but I hate him. He's like the most despicable character. Right? I mean, that character he plays is awful.
This is like a weird hill you guys are dying on. I don't like Josh Brolin because he was Thanos and wiped out a whole generation.
I'm telling you, I'm not saying I'm right. I know that Bradley Cooper's gone on to a great career and done so many other things, but I just see Sack. Like, I just see him and I'm like, God, I just freaking hate this guy. Like, he's just like a little weasel from that movie. No, I get where you're coming from,
I
Brock.
would think more like Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Oh, well, there's no way that guy could ever work again.
Yeah.
There's no way that kid could ever work again.
So
Most detestable character ever in anything.
Ramsey Bolton can't work ever again either?
I feel like he could, but Joffrey, no way. Ramsey, he's got a charisma to him at least.
Sorry.
The kid who played Joffrey, he should get out of the business. There's no way he can ever play a likable character ever in his career.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs at Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
I like this question. What team is making you an even bigger hater? You're getting even better at being a hater.
And they make it easy.
Yeah.
The Dane Cowboys.
Yeah.
They got 6 primetime games.
Mm-hmm.
6 primetime games.
Of course they did.
And they're going to be a barely over 500 team. But here's the thing. The Cowboys are going to be on primetime, and everybody's going to watch.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
During National Military Appreciation Month, we at University of Maryland Global Campus say thank you to the service members, veterans, and families who dedicate their lives to our country. We are deeply grateful. For over 75 years, UMGC has proudly served the military community, from installations overseas to the communities you call home. Wherever you serve, we stand with you. Learn more at umgc.edu/thanks. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. One of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us, and I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills, maybe.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with Xfi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Discover one of the new inventions in home comfort with mini split systems from Home Comfort Alliance. Enjoy efficient heating and cooling, saving energy and reducing utility bills. Call now for a free consultation and get 18 months, same as cash financing. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims like Sean, who was rear-ended in a car accident.
They're just easy to work with. They're fast. I like the fact that he had military service. I can see a lot of Marine in Rob. He's very in charge, really gets things done. But I didn't have to do anything. He offered me a settlement, had a number in my head, was nearly double that. I would refer absolutely anybody to Rob.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested. Eddie's!
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit
Dayandnight.net.
I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
Dayandnight.net.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor Installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, Mariners just went out and dominated this weekend, man. Score 15 runs in 3 games. They give up only 3. You do that, you're going to win essentially every game you play, and that's what it looked like. They just look like a better team than San Diego did in their building, no less, where the Padres have been excellent this year. We've talked a lot about the pitching, but the hitting was great as well.
King delivers. Swung on, blasted left field. It is hammered. It is on its way. It is in the seats. Randy Arozarena, a solo home run, and he's tied it up against the Padres. A big blast by Randy.
Oh, Randy lands, getting it done. WRC plus over 140.
He's
Best
been really
in
good.
his career.
He's been really good and kind of quietly good some days, and then obviously a couple of really big hits this year as well. I just enjoy watching Randy play. I don't know what to tell you. I just enjoy him. I enjoy the smile when he does something well. I enjoy the flair he plays with, the boots, the whole deal.
Maybe it's winning, and maybe it's confidence, and maybe it's all of these things, and maybe it's just the little snippets we get, right? We only get what the TV gives us, but you do see a lot more. I don't know, joy. Well, yeah, he's always had a flair and a charisma, but I did feel like last year there were times he looked miserable. And I think after the fact, we learned that was a really hard move.
Yeah, I think it was hard. We knew how deeply entrenched he was in Tampa and Randyland. That's a guy who sat out in the stands on his last night there just to be around the fans. So I've never felt like he was a bad guy. Quite the opposite. I'm sure it was a hard transition for him last year. Never, I guess he was traded once early in his career, but that can be hard for guys, and not just
Randy
traded.
To have a WRC plus, he doesn't even have to stay at 143 all year. You get him above 110,
125. Yeah, it'd be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean they're happy and they should be, and this is it's a tough team, and to hold them to 1 run each game, and to put some runs on the board like we were against their guys, it's just a great series, and we'll enjoy it. But we still got a long road ahead of us, and we'll keep looking forward. But this is a good one to start the trip with.
Yeah, 10 games in 10 days, right? 3 down there. You take care of all 3. 3 in Chicago, 4 in Houston.
Yep, and there'll be reinforcements coming in Houston. It sounds like, at least we think, George Kirby could be activated. No news yet on that front, but he was with the team in San Diego. Kind of makes me assume that he'll get activated here on this trip. Don't know who's going to pitch tomorrow. You get tonight will be Luis Castillo in Chicago. Tomorrow, dunno, and then Logan Evans back on Wednesday. So kind of curious to see how they decide to play it. Is this just a Jonathan Diaz start, or do they do something, mix it up a little bit?
Here's the second thing you need to know.
And maybe some of that depends on what happens today. If Luis doesn't go deep into that game, maybe you have to do things a little differently. If he does, maybe then you can piece it together. A little curious on that one. Brock, I've always said last year, right, or throughout this offseason, Geno Smith should just wait for Brock Purdy to get paid and then ask for $1 more. Turns out that was not going to happen. Brock Purdy got a lot of money, like a shocking amount of money. 5 years, $265 million on the extension. That's $53 a year. $53 million a year for Brock Purdy.
Right there with Tua.
Gosh, that's a lot of money. 180 guaranteed.
35?
I know. A full no trade clause built into it as well. Here's Dan Graziano with more.
Remember Jalen Hurts a couple years ago? They wanted it done before OTAs started. And I think that this reflects that. If you're Brock Purdy, could you have maybe got more by waiting? Of course, you always can. But I think he wanted it out of the way and the decks cleared for the offseason. And certainly when you think about where he comes from, being the last pick in the draft, it's a lot more money than I think on that day anybody would have ever forecasted he made in the NFL.
And even when you watch him,
he could have gotten more. What?
No.
Come on.
Yep, good for Brock, man.
Good for him. But this has to backfire, right? Like, paying Brock Purdy that much money, I think he's a good quarterback. I'm not anti-Brock Purdy. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. But I don't know if he's a $53 million a year no trade clause kind of quarterback.
$18 million a year better than Sam Darnold?
It doesn't
guarantee Sam Darnold
feel
how
that
much?
way.
35, 40?
Yeah,
they guaranteed him $180 million
for the next 5 years. Yeah, it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like it.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Scotty Scheffler is just ridiculous. You put him in a position, Brock, where he's got a chance to win on Sunday, and he's going to win on Sunday. He did it despite some challenges early.
I don't know. I mean, I just kept hitting it left. I knew it was going to be a challenging day. Finishing off a major championship is always difficult, and I did a good job of staying patient on the front nine. And I didn't have my best stuff, but I kept myself in it, and I stepped up on the back nine and had a really good 9 holes, and that's about it.
The funniest thing I know you always think about it is that golfers don't have a coach to talk for them, so they just have to say what happened positively and negatively, so they have no issues being like, oh yeah, I didn't play well here. I played really well there. This was a bad shot. This was a great shot. Like, that's just
verbal.
It's just
vomit.
how it is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You don't like it, though. It makes you uncomfortable. You don't like it.
You
don't. I can tell. It's hard for you.
Yes,
you don't like it.
You know what? I'm just deeply curious with him. Can his fundamentals sustain?
It doesn't seem like they would.
It's like Mitch Haniger's left ankle.
I know.
Like the amount of force in that swing on his lower half, on his knees and ankles, as he gets older, you can't do that, right?
It is pretty remarkable that the guy with maybe the ugliest swing in all of golf is by far the best golfer. The most consistent, the most dominant, the most inevitable, just remarkable. That's everything you need to know. 1:15 here on the Brock and Salk Show. A lot of texts about Joffrey, Brock, from Game of Thrones. 909.
Let me look him up. I got to look him up.
Let's see. The Joffrey guy, this is from 206. Joffrey guy did take years and years off, went to his father's farm or something. I just read that he's now trying to get back in the saddle and landed a role. 909. The kid who played Joffrey quit acting because that role took such a toll on him. At least the Ramsay actor's gone to have a decent career with likable characters.
Oh, yeah. That guy's
Oh, my gosh. Here's the problem with Joffrey, for anybody who's watched Game of Thrones, which is, I assume, most people. The reason he's so detestable is that everyone who's ever been to middle school knew a Joffrey. Like, he's in every middle school. Every middle school has a Joffrey. You probably remember your middle school's Joffrey, and you would say, like, well, Joffrey got to be king. So does that kid in middle school. He's king of the middle school. And he's a detestable little cuss. Like, you just can't stand him. He is mean. He finds weaknesses in other and picks on them. He is willing to... he's horrible to women. He's deceitful. He's the worst. He's absolutely the worst, and he looks just like Joffrey. He looks just like him. Same expression, same face, same hair, same everything. Maybe I'm projecting. I don't know. But Joffrey, I think everybody's got a Joffrey. Everybody went to middle school with him. And unfortunately, in Brock's case, he was him. So it's got to be a little bit more challenging for Brock to recognize what we're talking about here. Angie Mentink is next. It's Brock and Salk, Sales Sports on 710.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
For some people that are just committed to being mad at the team, or they stink, you just wait. You know, they're desperate to be right about them not being good. So this was their first chance to go, see? Yeah, there's the real team. I'm like, so the real team is the one we saw in these 3 games and not the previous 9 series.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
All right, hey, it's Mike Salk here. Let's talk a little bit about Crawl Pros. This is the time of the year where you may start noticing bugs or other pests around your house, right? Some of the ants trying to get inside out of the rain, and that's fine, but you don't want them in your house because that's gross. Rodents are in the peak of their reproductive system, so if 1 or 2 gets into your house, the next thing you know, you got hundreds, and now you could have damage to insulation, wiring, maybe even structural features. So yeah, you want to take care of all of this. That's why Crawl Pros has Pest Pros. That is their full-service pest control division, and they can come in and prevent any bug or rodent infestations from reoccurring. It's really important this time of year to take care of this stuff and do it quickly. So here's what you do if you're worried about water damage or mold or insulation or these critters or really anything else related to your crawl space or attic. Call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com to schedule that free inspection. That's crawlpros.com.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
Want to get rid of clutter and reclaim your space? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling for the greater Seattle area. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We prioritize donating and recycling, so we'll look for opportunities to do just that instead of going to the landfill. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. Reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
It's Clean Car Month. Right now, get the Pro X1 Car Care Collection Wash Kit for just $19.99, exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation.
Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin. Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers. And one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org/Nourishing Champions.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Oh, let's see. We're going to talk to Angie Mentink here in just a moment. 509 says, thanks, Salk. I just realized I was Joffrey in middle school. Well, yeah. Then you probably have some apologies to make. Go find some of the other people from your 6th grade and apologize to them. They would probably love to hear it.
Yeah, I don't think I was Joffrey. The more I think
I don't think you were either. I was joking.
Joffrey was despised by everybody, right?
Right.
I was just despised by the junior high girls.
Right.
Yeah. who I beat in an infamous game of 1-on-5.
No.
So, yeah, I was kind of beloved, I think, by my boys. But I was despised by the girls.
Yeah, no, I don't think you were Joffrey. You don't have that mean bone in your body. Joffrey's sadistic.
Yeah,
you just have the look. You didn't have the actual,
and you
the
know what
rest
else
of that package.
You know what I was fortunate of?
Yeah.
That Angie Mentink was not in my junior high.
Yeah, she would have beaten you.
If she was on that team,
she would have crushed you.
She would. I wouldn't have beat him 1-on-5. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, she'd have undercut me.
Of
she'd
course.
have elbowed me. She'd have sent me a shot to the ribs.
Yep.
She was a tough cookie.
Well, she's joining us right now. The great Angie Mentink
Still
of
a
Root
tough
Sports. Angie, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Wait a minute. I got in late. Was I violently attacking?
No, I was telling Bro. Well, we were talking about people who played their character so well that you hate them forever. And I don't know if you're a Game of Thrones person. I imagine you are because everybody is.
Yes.
I mean, Joffrey, you could never watch that kid in anything ever again, right?
I think he stopped acting, didn't he?
He did, because he's such a... And I said the reason he's so awful is that everybody knew a Joffrey in their middle school. And then I suggested that maybe Brock had that kind of same look and that maybe Brock was sort of like, the Joffrey of his middle school.
Just to the girls.
Over there at Ezra Meeker.
Only to the girls. The girls hated me. Because Angie, 1-on-5, I beat them. I just said I could beat your whole 7th grade girls team by myself. Doris Bender. And then I went on to compliment you and say, if Angie had been on that team, there's no way I'm winning. Because she'd have undercut me. She'd have elbowed me in the ribs.
Not true, though. I'm actually a horrible basketball player. We try not to let the kids even see me.
Oh, wow.
Shoot. I'm really a good defender. I'm a really good defender. But yeah, I got the squatty body, get down low, good defender. But yes, it's terrible.
I can relate to that.
It's absolutely terrible. And I have 2 good basketball playing boys too. So
what else did you play besides baseball? What else did you play?
I played tennis in high school. I played volleyball in high school, and I was the first female to letter in football at my high school.
How about that?
Yeah.
Running
back? Softball, obviously. I was a linebacker, outside linebacker, and a wingback on offense.
I could see that, and I bet you were nasty too. Like, people got to know what kind of athlete Angie is. I don't always tell the story, but I've mentioned this before because I know. Look, Angie, you're killing it in the new gig, and we want to talk all about it. And obviously, we're here to talk about the Mariners. But a few years ago, we all took batting practice. The whole media was invited out to take BP at T-Mobile, and everyone's, embarrassing themselves in various ways and trying to relive their glory, try not to get hurt. And Angie was wearing, I don't remember the shoes, but they were either flip-flops or heels. They were not the right shoes. And she was I'm not going to participate. No, I don't need to do them. No, I'm good. You guys do it. I get to hit all the time. Well, she finally gets guilted into taking a few swings and just starts lacing line drives all over the ballpark. It was a show. And she's wearing shoes that no one should be wearing to play baseball in, and it doesn't matter because she's still that nasty.
You're so sweet. They were high heel boots, I think, yes. Yes. Oh, that's funny. Yes. Well, it's fading fast. It's fading fast. I gotta lean on the hubs to keep the old glory, and the stories, alive. So, yeah, it's you're making me turn red.
Oh, well, I watched it with my own eyes. After I had swung and missed however many times, I'm like, geez, look at Angie. She is just hitting to all fields. She's like, oh, outside pitch, I'll just go to right. No big deal. Oh, you're going to put it up I'll just smash it right back towards the pitcher and hit the gate or the fence in front of him. All right, so, Angie, we'll stop embarrassing you. Let's get to your specialty and let's talk about these Mariners and less about what you were like as a hitter. When you watch them hit, what looks most different from what we had all watched previously?
Gosh, I know, and listen, I'm going to give props where props due with Edgar Martinez, but Edgar has always sort of been in there, kind of whispering in the ears, in the background. Last year, in the previous years, I really believe that Kevin Seitzer has had a huge impact on this team. And the thing that I love about this, and this is something you guys know, good coaches are those people that can, look at what's happening and make that little adjustment. I mean, I remember this story about Luke Raley, and if you've seen Luke Raley, play the game when he was healthy, he's just a ball of tense. And so, I mean, Seitz goes up and takes both his arms and shakes both of his arms out and makes him get all loose, and then, puts the bat in his hand. And he's like, all right, now engage the core. So it's getting him to engage the core so he takes the tension out of his arms. And it's just his ability to see what needs to be fixed, make it simple, put it in words and terms that the player, can understand and then incorporate. I've really been impressed with Seitzer, and he's just I adore him. And then Bobby Magallanes, his assistant kind of comes in there and fills in all the little gaps, and he's the guy that wants to watch video for hours and hours and measure this and measure that. But I just think the two of them working together has made a really huge impact on this offense.
Angie, I know you filled in last year a bunch as well, and you did so well. It opened this opportunity this year to be in a much more full-time basis up in the booth. And I've always said there's a big difference between being in the studio and actually out on the road. And, when you get to be in person and you get to meet the coaches and you get to travel and you get to see all of that. So I'm kind of curious, is now you're kind of full-time out of the studio and you're traveling with this team on a regular basis. What has jumped out to you in this experience?
Well, I mean, it's different, I think, Brock, in that, I would travel with the team from time to time, but as a host.
Yes.
And, traveling as an analyst, and I will say that, Edgar's always been fantastic whenever he's, with the team. Seitz has been fantastic. The players are really open about sharing what it is they're working on, what it is they're doing with me, what they're swinging, why they're swinging it, what they feel. And that's kind of continued to really sort of, grow as I've, sort of pestered them more about these sorts of things. So I think it's that, just the understanding. And then Pete, Pete Woodworth, goodness gracious, he's fantastic. I hope that if he ever stops coaching, he just comes straight into the booth, just come to the dark side.
Well, it kind of fits into a question I was going to ask you.
The game. Yeah.
Sorry, we lost you for just a sec, but it kind of fits into a question I wanted to ask you, which is, who are you learning from on this team? Which players, which coaches, who are you kind of talking to and learning even more about the game from?
All of the above, and they have been so great. I mean, Trent Blank's been fantastic. Bobby and I sat down for hours, and just chatted hitting, concepts, different guys, what they do well, what they're working on. Seitzer, like I said, every day he's there. If I just have a little quick question about this, that, or the other thing. So, Dan obviously is great. He chats with us every single day. Tony Arnrich. Everybody has been great. And I say this all the time, the best coaches are the best thieves. And I love just stealing wisdom from, players, coaches. I love this game. I love breaking down the game. I love figuring out what makes people successful at, something that is just so incredibly hard to do in hitting. Perry Hill. Perry's my buddy. So yeah, yes, all of them. So they've all been absolutely fantastic with me.
And this is no slight on anybody. And Angie Mentink here with us. This is not a dig on the past at all, Angie. And obviously Scott, I think we all felt like was a tremendous communicator as well. He was an open book for us and just a great guy as well. But is there a little deeper level of maybe that communication throughout the entirety of the staff? We've heard about Dan empowering players. Is kind of a similar vein and really empowering maybe the staff as well to be open and transparent?
I think that this game is just, every game is. So I don't care, if you play a sport at the highest level, it's just so difficult. And I think, the one thing about baseball is just the grind. It's, the grind of 162. And if you are going to wear yourself down into a nub, you're not going to last over the course of this season. And I think that that's sort of the same, with the people around you and the staff. And I think there's, it's just there's just a different vibe. And I think that Scott maybe in some ways was more clear on what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. Where Dan is really sort of, more collective, hey, what do you guys see? And, relying on those people that are sort of responsible for all their different things and really taking in their input. And, ultimately he's going to make the decision, no doubt about it. But, those people are in those positions because that's what they excel at. And so their voices are really critical and really important.
It has been interesting since you bring that up. Some of the in-game decisions have been certainly different from the way that we've seen them made over the last however many years. And I don't know that I agree with a lot of them, but they're all seemingly working, mostly because the players are making them work. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with everything you've just talked about, the communication and the preparation, everything that happens ahead of time. In your time and all your years playing, did you ever think much about managerial decision-making in games while you were playing?
That's a good question. Yes, I think I did in the sense most of it I think is when you're a player is I wouldn't have done that. It's not so much what you would do, but what's coach doing here, or what's the skip doing here? So I think that would be the extent probably of my thinking about managerial decisions. I was always thinking about what I would throw or, what would be difficult to hit in a certain situation. So even though I was never a pitcher, I sort of always kind of thought the game that way. I could see how to set up a hitter. So I think my thought process went there. So it was more, I would say I was more like a catcher, if you will, even though that was not a position I played.
More important for a modern manager to do the in-game stuff and be great at the in-game decision-making, or to be a communicator, setting the philosophy, et cetera?
I think that I think it's probably, both of them are really important, but at the same time, I think the atmosphere. I just think it's so incredibly important that players don't play tight. I think that there's only one way. It's like I talked about, like skiing. If you've ever been skiing, you have to point your skis down the hill. You can't be back on your heels. There's only one way to play this game, and you have to be fearless. And I think that it's really important that, a manager or whoever your coach is, that you work with the most, makes you feel that you can play this game, fearlessly. And then, sometimes you're going to guess right. Sometimes, it's not going to work out. I mean, the other day, Dan went to the bullpen early, with Emerson, and I was like, wow, okay, and it worked out, and it was great. I mean, he's going to make decisions, and they're not going to work out. And sometimes, we've looked and we've been like, well, that's an odd one. But also, most of the time he's making somebody has been in his ear, somebody has given him some information, and then, whether he uses that information, goes with his gut. I mean, he is given that information, and, more times than not, that is heavily influencing the decision he ends up making, even if he is leaning more towards his gut.
Angie, there's a long list of really pleasant surprises through the first 50 games here. Brian Wu being the ace of this staff. What Cal is doing is the fourth best player in all of baseball from a WRC plus. Mooney on the back end of things, of all of the pleasant surprises, and even some of the guys that have been called up and filled some valuable roles. What has been in a couple of the most pleasant surprises to you?
There's a lot. You bring up Wu, and I've been thinking about Wu lately because we keep talking about it. He's been the ace of this staff, and I'm like, I kind of asked myself, like, if Logan was healthy and Kirby on the other side, like, would I still be saying that? You know what I mean? If they were doing their things, because that's sort of what we expected to see. Not one of those guys. We expected to see really 3 or 4 of those guys. And so, as far as the guys coming in that have filled in, Logan Evans has been, I've been impressed with his resiliency. I see what Emerson Hancock has been able to do. His velo is stuck. It has, maintained since spring training. And when he's hitting 97, that makes, all those swing decisions that much harder. For the hitter, I think about Gabe Spire and where he is and how he's bounced back. Munoz is sick. And then, I would say the collective bottom of the order has been really impressive. And we saw it again, sort of, the Garvers, the Rivas's of the world, even some Miles Mastrobuoni. If you're going to win, you're going to need your guys up top to do it. You do their big things, get the sock, get the home runs, but you've got to have that bottom contributions, and they're doing that. J.P. Crawford, he's only got 4 home runs. I swear it feels like it's more than that. But he's done a really good job with runners in scoring position. That's a huge stat. I love all of our nerd stats, but runners in scoring position is still one that I kind of really, focus on. And what do you do when it matters? And that's been a really pleasant surprise is the J.P. Crawford and the season he had. Because I have to admit, at the end of last year, I was worried a little bit, you know?
I don't think you were alone. I think there were a lot of people that were pretty worried. So we just have another couple minutes. And I know we've talked about this and we've had you on before, but it dawned on me as you were doing the broadcast last week that I don't know whether everyone knows your baseball story. Right. I mean, just as it's the part of the reason you're in that booth and why you are as credible as you are, why we love listening to you, why you know the game so well. Could you give like the 2-minute version of your baseball journey for people that either haven't heard it or don't remember it or just like to hear you talk?
And kind of have it end in the high-heeled boots. Yeah, have it end in the high-heeled boots BP show you put on.
My Ron Furley sniff. All right, here we go. No, I obviously, grew up playing softball because that was sort of, what was, available to me at the time that I sort of pivoted and went to baseball. I was an alternate for the U.S. Olympic team for softball. I just, finished playing at the University of Washington, had a pretty solid career there. And I either was going to go play Olympic softball. If I signed up, the way things were back then, if you signed a professional contract, you were no longer eligible to play for the Olympics. Well, it was just a no-brainer for me because as a kid growing up and 3 brothers, all of them played baseball in college. Like my dream was to, be that first woman to play professional baseball. So to go and sign a contract to the Silver Bullets, was just like a dream come true. Thousands of women, all over the country at different tryouts. I tried out in Everett and made it to spring training, hundreds of women there, spring training for 24 spots, and ended up making the Silver Bullets and got to play for Hall of Fame knuckleball pitcher Phil Niekro. Joe Niekro was our pitching coach. Johnny Grubb from World Series Detroit Tigers team was our hitting coach and our outfield coach. Poor guy, just a Georgia Southern gentleman. Never heard the words coming out of these women's mouths that he heard. The Silver Bullets, and just, toured the country and played against really good teams, some really bad teams, AAA teams, Australian Olympic team. We went over to Taiwan, played against the Taiwan Major League, just a whole bunch of, baseball in a few years. And Phil Niekro, he and I did so many different, things together, and I have bar tricks to last me the rest of my life. And he was a fantastic, really amazing person. But yeah, just playing baseball against men for 2 years, and just having the time of my life, and then came back and started covering the Mariners. And 28 years later, here we are.
Amazing. Yeah, it's cool too that all the other women were, had foul mouths, and you were just there,
right. Clean them up.
Not part of that. It's amazing how that works.
Angie, which
a shining example?
That's you for the children, for the youth.
Last question for me, Angie. Which current Mariner, or you can go into your 28-year history Mariner, did Angie Mentink's professional game most resemble?
Oh. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, I sound like I'm like this. Okay. So this is a funny story. The other day, somebody added me that this chick at Oregon was 15 stolen bases away from Angie Mentink's Big Ten record. And I was like, what did you just say? Like, my Big Ten record? Well, yeah, because I had 59 stolen bases at the UW. It was beaten by a gal from Arizona who got 62. Well, guess what? Now the UW's in the Big Ten. So apparently my 59 is the conference record again.
Oh, you have the Big Ten record.
Yes.
Exactly.
Even though you never even played in the Big Ten.
Never played in the Big Ten. Never played in the Big Ten. This is just fantastic.
Wow.
But I mean, all the UW records go, and I don't know where you are, Brock. I don't know where you are. Maybe you should look into it, where you are in the Big Ten record
Oh,
book.
I'm sure he's very high in the Big Ten. They haven't had a lot of good quarterbacks, so Brock's probably pretty high.
Okay, so my point is, I was a singles hitter with a really high average. I think my career batting average at UW was 429. I am a singles hitter. Every once in a while, pop one. I still steal a lot of bases, and nothing drops in the outfield.
So you're Ichiro.
So that's what I was just going to say. I'm like, I'm Ichiro.
Yeah, you're Ichiro.
Ichiro.
Yeah.
Well, nobody said that, you're Ichiro. Absolutely.
I'm not a Hall of Famer, but I'm saying my game was a lot like.
How many hours do you spend stretching every day? Is it Ichiro-like?
Yeah.
Also, have you thought about wearing a full uniform up to the booth, much like Ichiro would do?
That would be good.
All right.
That would be good.
Angie, it's been great.
He's a legend. I am not a legend. I just meant.
I don't know whether I agree with that. You're the Big Ten steals leader, and it's been a blast listening to you and having you on the broadcast this year. Continued success. Thanks for joining us, and we'll make sure to do it again soon.
This was absolutely delightful. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, there you go. There's Angie Mentink of Root Sports. And I do think it's important to hear that story. Not everyone does know it, and certainly a lot of the younger people who were tuning into a baseball game don't necessarily know the Angie Mentink story. And, when you hear people complain, oh, what does she know about baseball? She knows a lot. Yeah. Angie knows a lot, and she's lived it, and she's been around it, and she's experienced it, and I think she does a great job.
She's gained the trust of all of these coaches,
100%.
which is an analyst. That's what you got to do. That's what I always prided myself on. I want to gain the trust and the equity of these coaches, so I can hopefully share something that nobody else gets. And she's done just a terrific job.
Yeah, she is. She's great. All right, we got an hour to go. We had a lot to talk about still, Brock. I do want to get into the Caitlin Clark thing. Maybe we'll do that at 9:30. We got to talk some more Mariners next. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, salesports.com.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The release of the Seahawks schedule, you open at home with the Niners, you close the season on the road with the Niners.
You know what's interesting about that is just that where's San Francisco going to be? I'm just curious. They're going to be able to be that team that kind of has dominated. Those two games I think are going to be really interesting just to see where the Seahawks are. I think this year the tougher challenge might be the Rams.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Great text about Angie. Bro, she's a badass. I love her, and I love all of you at 710. Thank you, 425. Mike in 206 says, I didn't know Angie's story. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I do think that's important. People should know Angie's credibility level, right? Like you hear on the broadcast, like we know Ryan Rowland-Smith played for the Mariners, right? Like you sort of know that. Dave Valley, you know who he played for. He played with the Mariners. But like Angie's credibility level is not obvious. It's not as obviously established, but it's there. I mean, what she did and playing for the Silver Bullets and playing pro ball, like Angie knows the game, man. And you're absolutely right, Brock. The way the players and the coaches talk with her and have always spoken with her, you can tell. They game recognized game, man. There's a respect there. Right. And there should be for good reason.
I'll tell you this, like to think, you know what we could have never done in year 1, Salk, year 2, year 6, year 10. You know what we could have never accomplished? And it's too bad it wasn't on video. If you could make Angie Mentink blush, you have done something.
Yeah,
and we made her blush this morning. That is a feather in the Brock and Salk show camp right
nice.
there, buddy.
Look what we've done, Brock. Last week, Pete Carroll. This week, Angie blushes. By the way, because of the Pete Carroll thing, we got to get Mike McDonald on, don't we? Like, a bunch of people texted in and were like, oh, why you have the Raiders head coach on? It's like, well, because he's Pete Carroll. But you do make a good point. Like, we should be talking to Mike McDonald. So I think we're working on that. We're going to try to get it done. There's a hope that maybe we could get it done for Wednesday. We'll see. But that is, for those, that is on our list. That's on our to-do list this week, is to try to sit down with Mike McDonald and
I put it on my
kind of hear
honeydew
where they're
list,
at.
Okay, Salk got Carol, so this is on my honeydew list.
Okay, good.
I'm going to try to figure out a way. Can you answer that same question, by the way? Hey, Lyle.
Whose game was most like mine?
No, don't answer that one. And we don't need to know Lyle's game either. We know he was a platoon player in the Lake Washington Kangaroo State title game that beat Corbin Carroll. We've heard all that story. No, I want you to give me your 3 most pleasant surprises, your 3 biggest surprises nearly 50 games into this Mariners season, is they sit a couple games up in first place, now back to 7 games over 500, 8 games been the high water mark, get a chance to do that today down in Chicago if they can accomplish it. What have been, just on paper or just, on your eyes have seen, the 3
You want
biggest
specific
surprises?
players or things in general?
Either way, whatever way you want to take it. And Lyle, I'd like you to put together the same list, and Maura if you want to as well, but you're busy.
I mean, from a player perspective, I think it's fairly easy if you're giving me 3. I mean, like, JP's got to be on that list, and Polanco's got to be on that list. I mean, what those 2 guys have done has been unexpected, right? I mean, like, did not expect that. A third, right now, it's probably Cal. Like, I expected Cal to be good, but I didn't expect this. I didn't expect him to be one of the 3 or 4 best hitters in baseball through the first almost 2 months of the season. I mean, he's been unbelievable. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if you're just saying players, it would probably be those 3.
Those 3 for you, player-wise? Lyle, any difference?
Honestly, I'm going to take 3 pitchers just because Salk already took a couple of them. And yes, the obvious answer is, of course, Jorge Polanco. And you can throw JP into that, too. I'll take 3 pitchers. I'll say Brian Woo's the first. And again, like, this is somebody I've been high on.
You can't say that. You said you were expecting it.
I was.
You said the question was what was exceeded your expectations.
I mean, is he not pitching even better right now than maybe
0.87
Hey,
whip.
you're the one who said he was going to be in the Cy Young category.
I did.
I mean, you can't. So you're saying you didn't think that.
I'm doing general perception.
General perception. Okay.
I thought people saw.
I'm just giving him grief.
Well, again, when you're 4th in baseball in whip, you're a very, very, very pleasant surprise. By the way, a couple years ago, I put out a take after Luis Robert had his really good year in 23. Or not a take. I said, if the Mariners are going to have to find a way to improve offense and figure out a trade that offseason, what are some things they could do? And I threw Luis Robert's name out there really before he was really being talked about heavily in trade packages. And I think I talked about the idea of like Brian Wu and a couple prospects after 23. And I didn't love the idea at the time. I was just trying to cook up what it could take to go get him. I cannot even tell you how many White Sox fans jumped into our reply saying this is the worst trade I've ever seen on this app, blah, blah, blah. Luis Robert has an 80 WRC plus since the start of 2024, and he's never on the field. I am so thankful every day that that trade never even came close to happening. So thank goodness. Anyway.
So Wu Spire's got to be on that list.
Yeah, so
right?
he was going to be one of the next ones. Because, again, somebody I thought was going to bounce back if healthy and play a pretty vital role. But a lot of people, I think, forgot about him.
I didn't see that coming.
Like, he was so good in 2023 between all the first pitch strikes, all the chase he'd get, the ground ball rate. He was about as perfect a left-handed reliever as you could basically build up after the year he had in 23. 24, he had a lot of injuries. He wasn't on the field that much, and you didn't know exactly what he was going to be in 25. Here he is doing what he's doing. Where's this bullpen without him? And then I talked about him a little bit earlier in the show, but if you're just going to stick in the bullpen, I don't think Casey Legamina is being talked about enough right now because you've got to find other guys in that bullpen.
You're right about that, but if you're going to go to the bullpen, in terms of surprise level, you got to go with Carlos Vargas.
I'd go with Legamina.
You were expecting Carlos Vargas, who you didn't want on the team to start the year, to have been one of their better relievers?
Is he still one of their better relievers? His whip is 1.5. I would take the guy in Legamina.
All right. Yeah. Well argued. Well argued. I relent. Well argued.
Yeah. Like Casey Legamina, look, there's things he's going to have to figure out long term because if he doesn't miss bats, then it's hard. Yeah, like it's hard long term to be a really good reliever. And right now, Legamina doesn't get a ton of strikeouts, but the guy's ERA plus is 2.02, so he's been 102% better than the league average reliever, and he's got a 1.80 ERA, and man, he's been good.
He's been pretty good.
Yeah,
been pretty darn good. All right, I'll relent on that one. I'm still pretty surprised that Carlos Vargas has done what he's done, but that's a well argued point. Brock, we miss anything?
No, I think that's all solid. I think Angie made a good little point about Wu as well. Right? Would he be doing all of this if his big brothers were in the rotation doing their thing? Or big brother's out, and he's got to step up now and be the big brother and be the guy to really take command of this thing from a durability standpoint, from a focus standpoint?
I got a little sound from Wu, just because remember we talked to him last year about his kind of mental skills coaching and how important that's been. So that's always kind of on my mind when we talk about Brian Wu. And he spent he talked about mentality yesterday.
I think it's just if you really love competing, you love going into environments like that, and you love hostile environments, and it means a lot for the team if you can go in and kind of set the tone and show that, like, hey, we're here, we mean business, and let's get after it from pitch one, instead of obviously not today, got whatever first at bat, but to build off of that, whatever, as the game went on, I feel like we got stronger, and just continue to set the tone for the rest of the team and the rest of the game, so that they feel like they can go out and just kind of play freely.
He also, I think, talked yesterday about setting different goals and remember he's talked about the video game thing a couple weeks ago, and then yesterday it was about finding different challenges over the course of the game. His ability to use that mental skills training and take it into the games, I think, is pretty impressive.
Yeah, you want to talk about if any single, maybe Cal's right there with him, of like an individual who you can feel the confidence. Right, you just feel it just oozes out of him. Just the confidence growth in him. I'd have to say him and Cal, you're just feeling it out of their pores right now, and the guys around him are responding. Yeah,
360 nails it. The biggest surprise from Wu is that he's been an innings eater. The stuff and the whip, those have always been there before, but the fact that he's getting so deep into games, that is pretty incredible. All right, quick break, everything you need to know, and then, Brock, I do want to talk to you about one of the big stories in the sports world in general. We'll do that in 20. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Only Brock and Salk and Seattle Sports go one-on-one with Raiders head coach Pete Carroll. Dude, that still sounds so weird.
Are you kidding me? Good morning, Coach. How are you?
What's happening, fellas? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. It's been a while. How are you?
I get it. You haven't called me once. What are you talking about? Doing great. We're having a blast. The energy around this building is really familiar and really fun.
The whole conversation's on video. Watch it on YouTube or the Seattle Sports app.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you got to look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software, upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. That is strikeout number 7 for Brian Wu.
Home. Home is where you get to cook things up just the way you like.
Swing and a miss.
Where you're never afraid to get in the kitchen.
He got him. A huge strikeout from Logan Gilbert in 7th tonight.
Where you serve, carve, put some extra mustard on it.
There's the fist pump by Luis Castillo. Strikeout number 10 on the night.
And get a little spicy.
Set a heater at 100. Back-to-back strikeouts for Andres Munoz.
Now you're cooking with gas. Mariners baseball at T-Mobile Park. Welcome home.
The next Mariners homestand gets started with a 3-day Randy Arozarena bobblehead giveaway against the Nationals, May 27th through May 29th. All 3 games are Mariners value games, which means you can score seats for as little as $11. Go to mariners.com/value games to lock in your tickets today.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Probably the best weekend of baseball I can remember from the Mariners in a while, Brock. That was really excellent in every phase of the game. The combination of the pitching, the offense, the defense, they really kind of left nothing on the table, and that's how you end up with a 15-3 aggregate score and 3 straight wins against a very good team who plays especially well in their ballpark. That's a heck of a weekend for the Mariners. Seriously, it is. And, you know, we can go to any number of parts of the game, but let's start with the pitching. You just mentioned Brian Wu. He was awesome.
Into the motion. Here's the 1-2. Strike 3 called, freeze him. Upper rung, 94, zipped it by him. Brian Wu, dominant in San Diego. 11 in a row put down. 16 of 17 put away for Brian Wu. A special day in sunny San Diego.
Yeah, it was pretty special for him. Gave up that opening home run, and then that was it. He shut it down from there, and afterwards spoke for the whole team on how important it was to win that series after what had been a pretty rough homestand.
Yeah, it shows a lot. Oh, sorry. It shows a lot, I think. Frustrating homestand for sure, especially, you know, went on the run that we did and then to come home, and obviously you're going to have, stretches like that. So, really proud of the way that the guys just kind of bounced back, especially good team. They've been playing well at home all year. So to come in and win all three shows a lot.
Said it earlier, man, if he is getting that ball on the outside edge, bottom rung or the top rung, just outside that box that we get to see on television, if he's getting that, I really don't know how you hit him. The A's are the only team that really have gone after him at all this year. And if you remember that game, he got squeezed a little bit. He had a couple at the bottom of the zone that were strikes that were not given to him. And obviously the A's put some runs on him. That outside of that, he's been nearly untouchable. As Lyle said, a 0.87 whip, fourth best in all of baseball. An innings eater. Every single outing this year has been 6+ and into 7 innings. And absolutely what they needed with George and Logan on the IL.
Yeah, well, and we may be seeing those guys coming off sooner rather than later. I mean, they head to Chicago now. They're already there to play tonight. You're going to get Luis Castillo. Tomorrow, TBD. They haven't announced the starter yet. Could be Jonathan Diaz. Maybe they make a move. Logan Evans supposed to go on Wednesday, coming off his best performance as a pro by far. And then I would expect, just based on the fact that George Kirby came out of the third rehab start okay and was with the team in San Diego. I mean, maybe he's just kind of getting used to being around them, but sure feels like you're going to see him in Houston. That would be my guess. I am curious who goes tomorrow. Maybe it's Diaz. Maybe it's a bullpen day. Maybe they got to wait and see what Luis Castillo does tonight before making that decision later in order to give themselves the best shot at the whole series.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
I gotta hand it to Brock Purdy. He made a lot of money that I don't know whether I like Brock Purdy, but I don't know whether I'd like him enough to sign him to a 5-year, $265 million deal, 53 per year, 180 guaranteed, and a full no trade clause. And again, for reference, Geno Smith got 2 years, 75 to 85, depending on some escalators.
Sam Darnold got what? Like 3 years, 105.
And it's really a 1-year deal at, 32? I mean, like, it really is pretty remarkable how much money he got. And if you're a Seahawks fan, you got to say, well, great. I mean, weren't you sort of hoping as a Seahawks fan that this is what the Niners would do rather than to just say, hey, we got a good system?
Yeah. I mean, this is just going to squeeze the rest of that roster.
Yeah.
Now, they were able to get Kittle redone and Fred Warner, and so they still got some talent around him, and Ayuk is still under contract. But we know, right? We watch this firsthand. We see it with all these teams. If you're going to do that, you better be a Lamar. You better be a Mahomes. You better be able to take guys off the street and elevate them into difference makers.
Well,
and I don't know if that skill set.
I don't know if it is. Harry Douglas was saying very much the same thing.
Because of the way that you are now compensated at the quarterback position. If there are a boatload of injuries that happened to the San Francisco 49ers like we seen last year, I gave you the benefit of the doubt a season ago. But you also wasn't making $53 million a year. Now you're making that, and I don't care who's out there, who's not out there. I expect you to elevate your football team and still make plays.
One thing that
I think that's well said, by the way.
Yeah, one thing.
Hey, can we talk to him, Harry Douglas? Have we ever had him on?
I don't know if we've had him on.
I like him. I liked him as a receiver. I kind of like him as an analyst. I think he's pretty good.
You got a little fun factor to him.
Yeah.
You know one thing that does strike me? San Fran could have had Sam Darnold, right? He's a free agent. They could have pivoted, and they had him for a year as a backup to Brock Purdy. But they basically, if they wanted to go to the market and they wanted to go toe-to-toe with the Seahawks, right, they could have put a deal together for Sam Darnold, and they had Brock Purdy on the 4th and final year of his contract, but they decided not to do that. Instead, pay him an incredible amount of guaranteed money.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Scotty Scheffler is just unbelievable over the weekend. Started on Thursday where he didn't play all that well. We played the sound Friday morning of Scotty complaining about the mud on his ball and how nobody should have to play like this. And you work your whole life to control a golf ball and then don't know where it's going to go. And I kind of said at the time, like, I'm willing to give Scotty the benefit of the doubt because he doesn't complain that much. And if he's going to say that one time, like, I'm sure he's right. What he did over the last 2 days is just amazing. It was in about a 90-minute stretch on Saturday that he went from 3 shots back to 2 strokes ahead. And then yesterday they're tied. 90 minutes later, he's up 5. I mean, 2 incredible 5-stroke swings. one on each of the 2 most important days of the tournament, and he dominates the PGA when it's all said and
I know
done.
there's a lot of those courses that if we had to play that course from where they play it,
oh my gosh,
a lot of them, including the Masters, the U.S. Open with the rough, you just be like, I don't, we do what you did a couple weeks ago.
Just walk off.
Pick up at 9 and just walk home. I'm just done with this. But that course specifically yesterday, with par 4 and par 4 over 500 yards, the finishing 3 holes where you're like, no thanks.
The Green Mile.
No, thank you. I don't even want to play this game. Humiliating.
Well, that's everything you need to know.
John Rahm humiliated on the Green Mile.
I don't know if it's everything you need to know. We didn't get to do this with Brock earlier about, a certain post-game quote that was said after Friday. We did it at 6:30, but I feel like Brock, you should react to this.
You take the first game of the Vetter Cup. What's your favorite Pearl Jam song?
It's that one that they sing. You know that goes like, that one.
I don't know.
JP didn't know a Pearl Jam song.
Well, as I said earlier, it's just really fun to be right. No comment, is there? Sound of silence.
I never argued with you on
For the
Pearl
second
Jam.
time
It's all
today,
the other
Lyle.
million things that you don't know, Lyle.
Well argued, Lyle. Well argued. You're having a day today. We're all very impressed.
I forgot to send you guys a note last night. We really should have come back with a Pearl Jam song for every break.
Well, we couldn't because Lyle doesn't know any of them. So you would have had to do all of that work. And since you don't actually know the names of any of them.
Oh, I'm still alive.
All right. We'll come back with the biggest story in sports this weekend, I think. It's next on Brock and Salk.
4 down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
I like this question. What team is making you an even bigger hater? You're getting even better at being a hater.
And they make it easy.
Yeah.
The Dane Cowboys.
Yeah.
They got 6 primetime games.
Mm-hmm.
6 primetime games.
Of course they did.
And they're going to be a barely over 500 team. But here's the thing. The Cowboys are going to be on primetime, and everybody's going to watch.
4 down territory. Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
All right, $1,000 sounds great, doesn't it? And right now, Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off on a new roof replacement, which is an awesome incentive for any homeowner to book a roof replacement right now. It's a great time to do it. The days are longer. The sunset's super late, right? The crews can get your roof done quick. And you want to do that now before demand starts to spike in the summer when it could take a little bit more time. So here's what you got to do. To claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing, very simple. Just book a free estimate. Go to the website, riversideroofingllc.com, and then you'll meet with Brandon. He's Don's son, the owner, and tell him you heard the message on the radio. It's really that simple. They'll give you $1,000 back in your pocket and a brand new roof over your head. And you can ask about the local experience, 35 years worth. You can ask about being GAF Master Elite certified, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers in the country. And then definitely ask about the catch-all system, because that will keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails or shingles. You can find this all, and it starts at riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
Upgrade to an efficient heat pump AC now before the summer heat. And Home Comfort Alliance will save you up to $6,000 limited time savings. And you can take 18 months to pay with zero interest. Call for a free quote. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Feeling lucky? Don't miss the Lucky Classic Collector Car Truck and Boat Auction, Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Hundreds of cars, vintage, muscle, exotic, classics, trucks, boats, and more. Saturday, May 31st at Tacoma's LeMay Marymount Event Center. Millions of dollars in inventory, many must sell with no reserve whatsoever. Get lucky, get local, and get in line for the Northwest's greatest collector car auction. Auction details at luckyoldcar.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Want to get rid of clutter and reclaim your space? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling for the greater Seattle area. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We prioritize donating and recycling, so we'll look for opportunities to do just that instead of going to the landfill. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. Reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
Dave Wyman here with an incredibly special guest, the mayor of the city of Lacey, Andy Ryder. Andy's a proud Seattle sports listener and recently underwent successful treatment for prostate cancer. His treatment method? Swedish CyberKnife. Andy, tell us about your treatment.
The entire treatment was just 5 days, less than an hour a day. I spent more time commuting to the appointment than actually being in treatment.
Any side effects during or after?
I've had very few side effects. I've been very lucky to not have some of the side effects that I was worried about with other treatments.
What would you say to anyone considering prostate cancer treatment?
I'm feeling very confident about my treatment with CyberKnife, and I absolutely recommend it for anyone who has been diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Thank you, Andy, and congratulations. Reach out to Swedish CyberKnife directly. You don't even need a referral. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I hesitate to talk about this story a little bit, Brock, because I fear that for whatever reason, this sports story, and I see it as a sports story, has been co-opted by the culture warriors around the country on all sides and turned into something that I don't think it actually is. But I think the story is fascinating anyway, so I'm willing to talk about it, but I just kind of wanted to give that little warning.
Oh yeah, no, this one's got a whole bunch of under.
It does, but I think that
it
does get co-opted by a group of people that I just don't have a lot of time for on this show. But I did watch the Fever Sky game on Saturday, women's hoops, opening game of the WNBA season. And as I was saying earlier, I don't know that I ever would have expected in my life that I would be sitting by myself.
Kraken Iceplex?
Nope, I was at the Alderwood Mall. Cecily and a friend of hers were up there, and they wanted to kind of be by themselves, and then we were going to hockey after that. So I was just hanging out in the mall for an hour and a half or so. I'm sitting at the food court, and I got my phone. Greatest thing about Fubo is you can watch whatever you want. And so I'm sitting there at the food court by myself watching
Eating
women's
a
hoops.
slice of just greasy Sbarro pizza. got your phone out watching.
I'm sitting there
WNBA
watching WNBA opener. Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston and the rest of their new teammates taking on Angel Reese, rivalry game right off the bat. And Brock, I know that you know so much more about this women's game than I do. But three things jump out to me. Four things. No, three things jump out to me. Number one, Fever going to be a lot better this year. And Caitlin's going to be better this year.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's pretty clear. You mentioned the muscles. She's clearly bigger and stronger. Mm-hmm. She clearly got the sense last year that she was getting beat up in those games and needed to change her body in order to get ready for that for this year. I also think just having the offseason off was really helpful for her. She went right from college tournament right into the pros, right into this, right into that, everything, the exposure that came with it. She didn't do as much this offseason publicly, and I think it helped to just kind of get away from it and relax. They got a new coach, Stephanie White, the old coach. Told you after the first game, had to go. Blink scouting. And they got some veteran players around her and Aaliyah Boston, and just watching them play, they're playing a much better brand of basketball than they were last year.
I mean, Caitlin made a lot of money through her collegiate stardom and her generational talent, then off the court with Gatorade and Nike. So unlike a lot of her peers in that league that have to go play in China and overseas, she did not this offseason and knew that, I'm not playing in this 3-on-3 league, and I'm not going to play in Israel. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm going to get bigger and stronger and just really work to add strength to my body because, she took an absolute beating last year.
And just watching her, she seems to kind of understand that now. Yep. And in year two, she's going to get more of the calls, right? That you just don't get as a rookie. She earned that last year and dealt with it all. And now I think she's going to start getting more of the calls. So add all of that together. The new coach, a bigger Caitlin, more rest, more physicality, better players. And I think they're going to be a much more fun team to watch this year. Okay, fine. 2, for all the talk of Caitlin Clark, the shooter and the scorer, I just watch her passing, and it blows me away. She is legitimately playing point guard in that game in a way that I don't really ever recall seeing her play. I mean, she was maybe at times, she's always been a good passer with good vision, but she was like playing point, like looking to pass, looking to set up teammates. And I know it's sort of hard to
she's
make.
She's never played with this talented a roster.
That's right. And you could see how it changed her game. She's like, I'll just give the ball to her.
Yeah. Or her.
I don't want to make a Larry Bird comp. Like, it's hard to make that comp because, for some obvious reasons, you're just like, is there another person I could comp her to than Larry Bird? But the comp is just impossible to ignore for someone who grew up watching Larry Bird. The passing, shooting combo, the toughness, the kind of raw competitiveness, all of it. She's shorter. I mean, he was a forward, whereas she's a guard. But other than that, I mean, the comp is really hard to miss. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, in the Midwest and everything else that comes with that. Indiana, Iowa girl, But what's amazing, Salk, is, and this is where there is, I think, a correlation to quarterbacking, which is so much easier for people in the large audience that we're talking to now, the larger understands quarterback play more than they do WNBA play or basketball play, is her awareness and anticipation. Like, where does that come from?
Some of that's innate, isn't it?
Larry, and same thing with like Jokic. I know that you don't watch today's NBA. Jokic is the guy in today's NBA that is Caitlin Clark, that is Larry Bird, that is just a step ahead of everybody else. I honestly felt like I loved basketball and I loved passing. And there was no question that playing quarterback and anticipating windows and seeing things try to happen before they happen, there is no question. When I watched my nephew Sam play back in the day, I used to love watching him play AAU basketball in his first couple years at Kennedy, because he just, same thing, man. You just you see it before it happens. So why does she and how did she cultivate that skill? And she grew up playing in the same AAU world. She played on all Iowa Attack, the big AAU program there, a perennial program out of Ames, Iowa. It's one of the most dominant on the whole EYBL circuit. Like, she played in that just like everybody else does. But how does she have this this sixth sense.
Yeah, they're
of
just
anticipation.
some people do, right? Bird was one of them. Magic was one of them. I mean, like, and maybe Magic's a good comp for her as well because there's a little bit of flash and flair to what she does that maybe Magic had more than Larry Bird.
Shoot like she shoots from 40.
He couldn't do that. No, and that's why I think the Bird is a better comp, right? I mean, like Bird had the passing creativity. He not as much flair as Magic, but certainly had the passing creativity. But just that ability to shoot from the outside. Magic was not a shooter. Just not what he did. I mean, like he did everything else, but that was not really that part of his game. So I really enjoyed watching that. And then you get to the flagrant foul. And this is the story that has become kind of a major talking point, both in sports and the non-sports world here over the weekend. Here's kind of what I came out of it, Brock. And maybe you and I will see this a little bit differently. It was a right call. That's a flagrant foul. Like, she clearly pushed her. The left arm came through. That's a flagrant foul. Flagrant one. It's not dirty. It's not gross. It's just a flagrant foul. Like, you're clearly stopping her from scoring. And in that world, they call that a flagrant foul. Okay. So that's a flagrant foul. They got together. They looked at the replay. It seemed fairly obvious, I think, that it was a flagrant. And then, okay. And there's obviously some rivalry. There's obviously some bad blood between them. But I don't think it's fair to talk about that play without talking about what happened immediately before it, which is that Angel Reese pushed Aaliyah Boston in the back, which is why she had the ball to begin with. And Caitlin went over and gave her a little shove. I saw it as almost like a hockey player thing. Like, oh, you're going to shove my teammate? Well, I'm going to shove you. I got my teammates back, which is exactly what she should do. And by the way, I have no problems with Angel Reese playing a physical brand of basketball. That's what she does. She's tall. She had, 17 rebounds in that game? Like, good on her. That's how she should play the game. She's a Dennis Rodman-like character who plays the game somewhat similarly to the way he did. And, okay, that's going to get under people's skin. And fine. Like, I don't know what the problem is. One person does one thing, the other person does the appropriate reaction, and then
I think if it
on.
all stopped there, Salk, then it wouldn't have been a story. But Angel getting up, saying what she did.
Come on. That's always going to happen in basketball.
No, it's not.
Of course it does.
Oh, really?
That stuff happens all the time.
When Caitlin gets hip checked last year, the most flagrant, egregious, like dirty. And Angel's over there celebrating and laughing. Did Caitlin get up and cuss in that chick's face and go back and attack?
But she's a different personality than her. I don't expect her to do that. I expect Angel Reese, who plays that style of basketball. I absolutely expect that, and I don't have a problem with it. Any more than I would from Dennis Rodman or Ron Artest or any of the gazillions of other players.
Think Angel views herself in that way?
Maybe not now because she's only like 23 years old, but eventually I think she'll understand that that's kind of the style that she's kind of painted for herself.
Do you think she legitimate, like all of her comments, and I've tried to do trash takes with her, and I can't win. I can't win this argument. I'm not going to do it.
Because I think sometimes she's right.
Yeah, I'm not going to do any more of them with you. Do you think she's delusional, or do you think she truly believes that she's as big a deal as Caitlin Clark? Do you think she honestly, when she lays in her bed,
I don't think she believes
ceiling,
she's as big a deal. I think she believes that she should be.
She believes she should be.
Yes.
Okay.
I think if you were to, truth serum, I think she knows that Caitlin is the story and the big thing.
And like Caitlin's skill set is just so much far superior to her skill set.
It is. And I think I don't know if she knows that or not.
I don't think she knows that.
I think there's a level of delusion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she truly believes, like, I don't understand why, Caitlin Clark is adored the way she is and gets all this money and all this stuff because look at me, I'm a double-double machine. Yeah, you miss half your layups and you get 6 rebounds a game. Great. That's awesome.
But she does. But she is a double-double machine.
She is.
And she did have 17 boards in that game. And afterwards, both of them were asked about the flagrant. Here's what Angel Reese said.
Angel, can you take us through the flagrant foul from your perspective? Just what you saw in that play, how you interpreted what happened.
Basketball player, refs got it right. Move on.
Okay, so she doesn't want to talk anymore about it, and neither really did Caitlin.
Caitlin, I saw you having a long conversation with the official. Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul, and what was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, If either Angel gets wide open 2 points, or we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a flagrant, right? Come on.
It's funny. One view, it shows like her arm pushing her a little bit. The other 2 views, it's just a good hard foul. I was shocked that Angel Reese was knocked down in that kind of way, but maybe Caitlin has gotten so super strong.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, there was a dive?
No, I don't think it was a dive.
It wasn't a
I think-
dive. She knocked, dude, that's a flagrant.
She was knocked off balance and got fouled really hard.
Right.
And that was right after she two-handed shot.
Oh, absolutely.
Leah Boston right in the back.
Yeah, she had it coming.
And she comes up like, what? What? How?
But don't you love that? Like, I don't understand why that makes people so upset.
See,
like, that's
I
what you
love
love
that.
about sports.
I love that with Dennis Rodman. I love that about Oakley. I love that about those guys.
Why
They
don't
took
you love
on
it about
that
her?
role. Because Oakley and Dennis Rodman understood they weren't Michael Jordan. They were their skill set. She thinks she's Michael Jordan.
She's not. All right, so
trying to
then
shoot-
maybe the
she's
better
now trying to
comp.
shoot threes and trying to drive, and she feels like she's been so disenfranchised, and this isn't fair, and I'm as good as Caitlin, and you're not. You're just not, just as Dennis Rodman and those guys were not as good as those great players.
Maybe Draymond Green's a better comp for her?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Is that a better comp? I mean, a little bit more current, obviously.
Yep.
Is that a better comp for her?
Probably. But I think he's got more. He can pass and he can shoot. And I think he's got a little more all-around game. We'll see if she can grow and cultivate that. She has no touch. She can't shoot. She is a rebounding force. She plays really hard. She's super physical. She is a great kind of villain to Caitlin. And then there's no question that theater amplifies things. And yeah, it does bring a whole cast of society into it for many other far-ranging conversations off of the basketball court, which is also not bad for the WNBA.
No.
So I don't hate any of this.
And good on the
But I do
WNBA.
find-
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just do find Angel, like many of these athletes that we cover, like you're just delusional.
Yeah.
Like that's just a delusional, and maybe that's what makes her go.
I mean, that's
you know?
Richard Sherman. That's
It is.
right. I mean, heck,
Yes.
we were just saying last week that's Pete Carroll. I mean, like that's a lot of the people who make or Bill Belichick. Oh, it does not have anything to do with North Carolina football. What are you talking about? Of course it does. Delusional, right? Pete, like, oh no, this is exactly how it went down. Delusional. Right? Like Richard Sherman. That never happened. Of course it happened. We all saw it with our own eyes. You're delusional.
Like, Angel, you really think if there was no Caitlin Clark, you really think there'd be 20,000 people at your games? No, there wouldn't. No, there wouldn't. And in fact, there were not. When there were Chicago Sky games, not against Indiana,
Right.
there wasn't 20,000 people there. They're
I
there
think
to
she
watch
understands that. I think she's just upset about that.
Sure.
And I don't think she's alone in that, by the way. I think she voices her opinion a little bit more than others. But I think it was pretty clear last year that she's not the only one who feels that way in the WNBA, that there's a frustration level, that they've been out there working hard and building this thing for a long time. And this girl shows up, and all of a sudden, all of the eyes are on her. And yeah, she's great, but
Because she's the all-time scoring leader in the history of women's basketball.
do you think that's the
and
only
she
reason?
elevated Iowa to Final Four.
Do you think that's the only reason?
No, I don't think it's the only reason.
There has to be some allowance. I mean, like, we're not going to make this whole thing a culture war conversation.
Correct.
But she's a white girl from Indiana.
That's right.
Or from
Iowa.
Iowa, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have that does play a role.
Yep.
It's not the whole role. It's not the only thing that happened. She's earned it as well. She's been an incredible player. She is a joy to watch. And again, someone like my daughter, Cecily, immediately just saw her and was in. It didn't take more than a minute for her to be involved and want to play. But I can understand how for a lot of the black women in the WNBA and in the sport, that would be upsetting.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you can understand how that's feels like a frustrating thing for them. And to immediately, I think it's hard to expect them to immediately go to, hey, this is good for me and it's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
They might understand that, but also still be frustrated that that's what it takes. Sure. And I think I have some sympathy. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I just got some sympathy for it, or empathy. I never remember which is which. I have one or the other.
Compassion.
I have some compassion for it. Thank you.
Grace.
Yes, I have some grace.
Yes. There you go.
And I think I think that's what this conversation sometimes just needs is. It doesn't have to be all right or all wrong. Caitlin can't be all perfect or all this. It's not just about one thing. It can be about a bunch of these things. Yes, she's incredible. Yes, it's helped her a little bit, in the public eye to look different from a lot of the other gals that she's playing against. Both of those things can be true at the same time. And I think some of that is true of Angel Reese. Yes, some of what she says is really sort of insane, I think is probably the right word for it. Delusional, we used earlier. Yep. And some of it is that she gets judged on a different scale than some others might because of how she looks and how she acts. I think both those things can be true at the same time, but obviously that doesn't sell on Fox or MSNBC.
No, it doesn't. But all of it adds up to just a confluence of conversation that hopefully will just continue to elevate the game.
And doesn't it
then when you see Caitlin doing the things that she just does on a basketball court,
she looked good.
Oh my gosh,
she looked unbelievable. That was that's the most fun I've had watching basketball since I saw her in college. Like she just looked awesome.
Yeah,
she looked amazing.
Yeah, you know what she looked like? She looked like a quarterback with an offensive line.
You want to get back to that?
Yeah, I mean, she looked like she played on a team that actually had a whole complement of around her. You know what teams couldn't do? Like go double team her and attack her off screens and just throw their bodies into her and press her full court and do all the things that she had to kind of endure last year as a rookie, both psychologically, physically, emotionally, all that stuff she had to go. And now they got a super competent coach. They added like 3 veteran, really good players around her to add to the other players that were already there.
Yeah.
And she's got like a full blown Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, team around her, supporting cast. Shouldn't have to carry the whole show.
Pretty fun to watch, and I know that I'll be tuning in. And credit to the WNBA. We gave them a lot of grief, you especially last year, Brock, about just how poorly they marketed and handled the coming of Caitlin Clark into their organization. It seems like someone did some work in the offseason to kind of get that figured out. She's on ABC. They're going against a rival, opening day. Like, it does seem like maybe they're starting to figure that out a year later. So we'll see where it goes from there.
Hey, Salky, what Luis are we getting tonight? Which one are we going to get?
I hope we get the guy who throws a lot of two-seamers and gets a lot of outs on them. What do you think?
Yep. Yeah. I think he could probably feel George coming back. I think you got, Logan, who had a very positive up and down bullpen from everybody's accounts. And these days after the bullpens are even more significant than, yesterday in the moment of. So hopefully we continue to hear good news with that. Oh.
He was kind of doing this the other day, wasn't he, Brock?
Oh.
What did he go, 6 shutout? 6-1, what did he, 1-run shutout? I forget. He was really good.
Did he start to win that?
If he's going to keep doing that.
Did he plug in the pottery wheel?
I mean, if he's going to do that.
You had it on. Did he plug in the kiln?
The kiln? That's not till later. I don't even think they got to the kiln and ghost. They just had the pottery wheel going, get the arms around, the hands all messy and in there together. You ever use a pottery wheel? Have you ever done that?
I didn't do a pottery wheel, but we had clay.
No, not clay. No, not that.
I mean, we painted it after it went in the kiln.
No. I mean, on the actual pottery wheel. You ever done that?
No, I did not.
So fun.
You?
One of look. What? Let me be clear. I'm a terrible artist. I can't draw. I can't paint. I can't create with clay with my hands. Huh? Penmanship's awful. I cannot do any of that. And I dreaded every art class I ever took my entire life. Dreaded it. Absolute dread. Hated it. Couldn't do it. I've only ever been good at using two items in art class. One was the pottery wheel. The other was the lathe in woodworking, where you got basically the same thing. It's just with wood instead of instead of a pot. I love the pottery wheel. It's so much fun. You never done it? What are you laughing at? That's so funny.
I'm trying to picture you
on the pottery wheel.
Yeah,
dude, it was fun.
Hard time picturing it.
No. I made some pretty good things, and then I would have to, what do you call it? It's not painting; it's glazing. I would have to glaze it at the end, and then I'd ruin it because I couldn't do it. Yeah. But the actual making of the pot or the plate or whatever it was, dude, it was great. It was super fun. Awesome. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed all that. Too bad you had to glaze it at the end.
You know what I'll be watching with Luis? You'll be watching for two-seamers. You know what I'm going to be watching? And what is the weather? I looked in Chicago last week. I think it's going to be kind of Washington-esque, mid-50s maybe. Not great. I'm going to kind of be watching for that like Emerson Hancock. Not to 97, but can Luis just sit at 95? Can we get to 95? The difference for him.
He was on his last start, yeah.
Yes, he was. And I think that made that little uptick and made a little difference. As Angie said, those swing decisions, that little millisecond, that it takes, the difference between 92 and 95, 96. So I'll kind of keep an eye on that one early.
Well, and I would say that it's
pottery wheel spin.
It's a pretty important start, not because it's against the White Sox or anything like that. I mean, you can afford to win or lose. That's not the point. Just knowing that tomorrow is a TBD and you're not you really don't want to be in a position where you lose this game and then you got to go with your TBD tomorrow. And now all of a sudden you're like fighting against the White Sox.
Well, and then Wednesday, I know this is going to get overlooked because it's the White Sox, but Shane Smith has been really good, and that's who they're going to get Wednesday. Good, like he's going to be an all-star.
Okay. Who are they getting in the first two games?
Exactly.
Exactly.
But Shane Smith's got an ERA almost below 2, so he's been really good.
Are the White Sox worse than they were a year ago, like roster-wise?
No.
Roster-wise.
Oh.
I mean, I'm just looking at it, like, at least last year you had Garrett Crochet. Like, you had some people on the team.
Yeah, Eric Fetty last year, yeah.
Who's left on that team? They might have a worse roster this year than a year ago, Brock. I don't know if they are worse, but I think their roster might be. That's unfathomable.
And Luis Robert has been abysmal. So.
Oof. He's been very bad. So, anyway, that's what the Mariners are up to tonight. They will head to Chicago to take on the White Sox. Obviously, we'll be talking about that tomorrow. Jeff Passan will be with us. He promised to be on video tomorrow, Brock. So that should be exciting. We are working on efforting Mike McDonald for this week. Should be nice. Chat with the coach. You know who else I'd like to talk to? I gotta send a text. I'd like to talk to Brian Wu. We were trying to do it a week or two ago after that video game thing he talked about, just because I'd like to hear about his mental skill stuff. I just like hearing he's an interesting dude. I want to hear about his mental skills stuff. And I want to follow up on that innings pitch thing that he said at spring training.
How about Son of a Buck? Can we get him?
Yeah, that's another one we're supposed to. All right, let me send a text. Brock, let's do some work here so that we can prep the rest of this week.
You effort the Mariners, I'll effort.
You know what?
And
did I tell you I booked a guest for Friday at 9:45?
What?
Cecily Salk going to be in for her birthday to rip her dad.
Oh, her roasts. They're so good.
The roast is coming. All right, we got to get out of here. Turn things over to Bump and Stacy next. We'll see you guys at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Until then, the hay
is in the barn.
See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Bump and Stacy.
Jason Churchill joining us now. Might we be staring at a potential gap where you're still waiting on production from your pitchers and the offense has come back down to earth?
If I would have told you after about 40 games, and the Mariners are going to be in first place, George Kirby will have not pitched, and the thing that's led them to this record would be the lineup, the offense, the run scoring. I think every single fan would have been like, hey, yeah, I'll take that.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
Synthetic Turf Northwest is now open in Fife, the South Sound headquarters for premium synthetic turf. They help homeowners with a turnkey solution, DIYers, and contractors and landscapers needing quality products. With premium turf in stock, expert advice, and pro installation services, everything you need is under one roof. Visit their new showroom off I-5 in Fife, Synthetic Turf Northwest. Supplies and installation expertise all in one place. Mention radio for up to $1,000 off. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave, keep your house cool and save.
DayandNight.net.
Save up to $6,000 on qualifying cooling equipment, plus no payments or interest for a year OAC. Don't sweat it out this summer. Stay cool with Day and Night.
DayandNight.net.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports.